Wanted to make a quick welcome video, welcome you to the training, also to thank you for joining. This training's brand new. I literally just took everything I had in my head and threw it down in the overall concept of how to start a lead gen business, all the different parts of it, generating leads to, selling leads and all the stuff in between. So it is going to be a work in progress. Anybody that's, newer, just ask questions, go to the Facebook group. There's a link to join the Facebook group, join that, ask questions, and then as time goes on, obviously, I'll keep putting more and more training in. And what happens is sometimes when you're too close to something, you don't realize what questions people will have. So as you ask more questions, I'll be able to, answer them and put that stuff in the training. Same thing happened with my other training to do the whole business loan and the consulting. I started off, I threw everything in there, and then as people started asking more questions, I kept upgrading everything. So I will say the lead gen business is amazing. I like it because it's automated. It can scale very easily. You don't need more employees, or you don't need any employees. You just need to really spend more money to make more money. And that's the position I've always wanted to be in. Now, when I started, I didn't really have that much money to throw around, right? So I literally started with $20 a day and, grew as much as, $10,000 a day. So it took a while to get there, but it's really is a great business. So I just highly recommend you stick with it. And as long as you don't quit, you'll do well. And as long as you have any questions, let us know. And of course, any way I can help you out, we will. All right, thanks. Lead generation. I'm glad you joined. I gotta say, lead generation, it took me a long time to put together a lead gen training just because I didn't really know how to. I know how to do the business myself, but how do I set it up for everyone? The issue with lead gen training is I can't create a lead gen training on one business, like business loans. I can't do that for everybody. It's just impossible. I would bring in, thousands of people and everybody would try to call the same companies to sell leads to. It just doesn't work that way. The only way you can do a training is it has to be broad across everyone, which if you look at anybody who does what I do in the e-learning space where they teach people how to do stuff, it's a broad thing, right? Whether it's consulting, well, consulting what? Consulting anything, right? Or social media agency or whatever. It's a completely broad spectrum. So I did try doing a lead gen training just for business loans, and I brought in so many people so fast that I had to shut it down because this isn't going to work. Right. So what I'm doing in this training is I'm teaching you how to do a lead generation business as a whole, meaning you can go into any vertical you want. The reason why I can't, the biggest question is, give me companies to sell leads to. Yeah, sure, man. Why don't you give me clients, please? Why don't you give me clients? It's like you want me to give you all your clients. When you sell leads, you have to understand is that you're trying to get a company to buy leads from you, right? They don't just buy leads from anyone, right? It's like calling up a company and say, hey, let me build your website. All right, well, who are you and why should you build my website? Are you good at building websites? It's not like people just buy leads for fun. They just throw money at you. And it's just, James, I figure I have him in this video, because he started doing this himself. Right. Does a loan brokering and started selling leads. So he talks to a lot of lead buyers now. Mm-hmm. And he understands what it takes. Right. If he sells leads to 5 companies, 10 companies, maybe 5 will actually be successful, but they all do exactly the same thing. One thing you have to understand as a lead provider is when you sell leads, you're only as good as your last lead, okay? You have to sell them on why they should buy leads from you. They're not just going to do it for fun. Yes, it is an easy thing to sell. Right. Companies are willing to buy from you as long as you know what you're talking about. As long as you have some numbers and stats. When I talk to somebody, say, I've been doing this for 3 years. Here's my numbers. Here's how my buyers work. I know everything there is to know about it. So you need to have your sales pitch down. Mm-hmm. At first, it's going to be a little harder. I get it. And maybe at first, you do a deal with someone and say, just take 10, 20, 50, 100 leads for free. Anybody will do that. Mm-hmm. Anybody will take leads for free. That's an easy way to get in. And if they're happy with the leads, whether they pay for them or give them for free, they'll continue buying. So that's one way to do it. So I can't just say, call this company up and buy leads. I can, but that company will yell at me. They're like, stop sending all these people to me. I can only buy leads. A company can only buy leads from so many people. Maybe they have 5 lead providers, 10 lead providers. Maybe there are some companies that are big, like a lending tree, and they'll bring on 1,000 affiliates, but it will turn you off if your leads aren't good, So now, lead gen. This is pretty much how I set up my lead gen business. Doesn't look like much, I know, but this is it. It doesn't really take much to set up a lead gen business. So what I do is I put up a Facebook ad for business loans. Obviously, each part of these, you have to be good at it. So that means when you put up a Facebook ad, when I put up a Facebook ad for business loan, it's a good ad, right? I tested the ad out. I did things. Now, I can't show you guys how to put up an ad for every single business that exists. Construction, mortgages, insurance, I don't know. I just don't know every single business. I just know what I do. So you have to take that and now implement it into what you do. But I gotta tell you, it's kind of common sense half the time. If you're doing auto insurance and you're doing subprime auto insurance loans, well, what do? You target people who don't make a lot of money, who can't get a dealership loan or a loan, when they go to the dealer, or pretty much a loan on their own. They have to go online. So you're looking for a specific demographic. That demographic typically is not someone who makes money, right? Someone who doesn't make a lot of money. Maybe someone who, is a certain age group. Maybe somebody a different, certain background. Maybe people who have, Facebook actually provides you with people who are looking for cars. So you can go that. You can actually say, eliminate people who own BMWs, Mercedes, higher end cars. Say, eliminate those people, right? So you can do your demographics however you want, whether you include or exclude people. It's really cool. So let's say mortgages. They actually give you the ability to go after somebody who's looking for a home. Maybe you're going after new moms. They actually show you people who are either pregnant or just have kids. Maybe you're going after parents of toddlers. Maybe you're going after student loans. They actually provide you with, the people who are in college, right? Or people going into college, like just graduated. Maybe you're doing educational leads, right? You're doing that type of stuff where people that are graduating high school, right? So you get it, right? It doesn't matter what you do. Restaurants, okay, well that's a local, right? Now you go down to zip codes. Everyone eats. That's kind of easy, right? Maybe if whatever the restaurant is, depending on how you do it, but it's more of a local thing. What else is there? Tax. That's a little harder to get into, but someone who has tax problems, that's kind of like one of those ads you run during tax season because everyone's more into it now or thinking about it. You have rehab. I actually don't know how you would target someone. Maybe Facebook might have people. They have interest. So maybe if people have or show interest in rehab or those types of facilities or that type of stuff.
Maybe fitness category because people get injured. So we have.
No, I'm talking about people addicted to drugs.
Oh, okay. Therapy rehab. Yeah, that's a whole different category.
You have end of life, right? End of life leads. Obviously, those are old people. So, but you're not really going to target the person that's actually end of life. You got to target their kids, right? Their grandkids, right? So you got to figure it out. But that's the good thing about Facebook. It gives you all those options. It's amazing. You can use Google, LinkedIn. He's big on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's great.
LinkedIn's great. So, but he deals a lot of lead buyers. I know I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but when you deal with a lead buyer, what it typically, now he's doing business loans, but so in that industry, business loans, and you're talking to lead buyers, what are your typical questions? Like how do they drill you?
The first thing you have to do is like Phil said, you have to know your product. So you have to have your sales pitch prepared. You have to know stats because the first question that they typically ask is, well, how are you generating your leads? So that's the first thing that they like to ask you in terms of how you generate your leads. So you want to make sure you understand. And when I talk to people, I typically tell them it's online. It's totally inbound marketing, opt-in marketing. I don't always go into the specifics whether I use Facebook or other pay-per-click options because I don't want them to know everything about it. As long as it's an online lead, it's not generated from a call center or something like that, that's usually suffices. The other thing is about how many leads per day can I generate. That's the other thing that most of the time they ask. The other questions they ask about, well, how can we get the leads supplied to us? So typically with that environment, they're asking whether it could be API to them, emailed to them, or what other methods can they have available to them. So those are typically the major questions. And then what fields are you collecting? What filters are you asking for them? And that's probably the number one question that you need to know to address as Phil said, I'm doing with business loans, so I know the fields that we need to collect. Because when I was doing brokering, I know what I needed to know to be able to get them qualified for the loan. So depending on what vertical you're going into, you're going to need to know the key, maybe 5 fields that you're going to need, 5 to 7 fields at the most, to be able to get that information, to be able to sell that to these companies that you're going to be providing these leads to. And I guess on top of that, I think that's about the number one.
So you go through a call. How many times have you closed somebody in the first call?
On the first
like
call?
the percentage. If you talk to 10 companies, how many are like, I'm ready to buy?
Oh, it's probably 7 out of 10, probably even higher.
Okay.
Because the other 3 probably didn't pick up. I'm telling you, it's just in terms of like what you said. This, and for me, it's unlike any other business only because you have an interested party. When
the phone just fell.
Ah.
Off the little thing, just so everyone knows. So we had to reconfigure. He's got to remember what he was just saying. So he said something about
unlike any other business I've worked with, you're dealing with interested parties. Like when I get on the phone, when I get the person who's in charge of buying leads, I know there's probably 100% chance they're going to entertain what I have to offer because they need what I'm providing. So unlike any other business where they're going to waffle on things and so forth, they need a supply to get their salespeople busy. And that's the thing. They need to have that phone ring, and they need that salesperson to make those deals. And having a lead source like me, giving them these leads, it's something that they have to have for the heartbeat of their business. So it's been fantastic because typically you have to know what you're going to say. You're going to have to speak to them, answer the questions intelligently, and then it basically comes down to, okay, well, what does it cost per lead or how they work it out? And that's something where you have a price that you know the market will be able to bear, or you can work with them depending on how much that you want to get in with them. Like Phil said, sometimes you want to give them a little candy, you want to give them a little offer and say, hey, I'll give you 10 leads for free. Work them out, call me back how they work. And then that just shows good faith, that shows getting into the business, and then they're going to continue to buy from you as long as your leads are performing for them. But yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, so something about that. When you sell leads, you have to know your product, but you also see people come to me and they say, hey, can you send me 5 credit repair leads? Mm-hmm. I won't do it.
No.
Because you have to know your conversion ratio. Don't give someone, now typically your conversion ratio is going to be low, 3, 5, 10%. So you don't want to give somebody too small of a lead. It's just, like my credit repair leads probably convert at like 2-3%, maybe 5. So if I give someone 5 leads, they're probably not going to close anything. It's just going to hurt it. Mm-hmm. I need them to take like 100, right, to really see anything. So for you, if you're selling these leads, or whatever leads you're selling, you have to know your conversion ratio. Because if your conversion ratio is low, you don't want to give away too small of leads.
Right.
So you got to think about that. No lead buyer is ever going to buy from you unless it backs out. It doesn't matter, man. Like you can't just charge $100 a lead and only worth $3. It's just never going to work. They're only going to buy from you if it backs out. And most lead buyers, when I sell leads, they'll come back to me and they'll either, now I know what I know now, but when I first started, I would just throw things against the wall. I remember my first buyer. It's like, oh, how much you want to charge? Like $60. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, I thought I was going to do 40. I went so high at 60 and they would have did it at 70. Yeah, I'm like, so that was when I first started. And then I started realizing I would start high and then work my way down. You know, you always start high and work your way down. Unless it's like a buyer that you really need. And you're like, oh, I need to close this deal. This is huge. And you give them a good deal. It's like, but you're never going to go up.
Right.
You're always going to go down, but you're never going to go up. So whenever someone says, oh, I'll start at X dollars, but we'll go up later if it works. Nah, man, it's never going up. They're never going to spend more on marketing.
Exactly.
And you will be surprised that if you take leads away from, if you're really a good lead provider and you take leads away from somebody and they're playing hardball with you, I've done this. I'm like, all right, man, done. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm like, they're getting calls, man. It's like, yo, wait, send me leads.
Exactly, right.
So you have a lot of control, a lot of power if you are able to provide leads to a company and that company is making a profit off your leads. You are powerful to them. You're like more powerful than a chief marketing officer.
That's right. Yeah.
They need you. And you never want to have one lead provider. I'm sorry, you never want to have one lead buyer. Mm-hmm. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to make sure you always, like if you lose a buyer, everyone else can handle everything. That's another very important thing. You also want to, another thing you really need to do is think about it from the other perspective. That company does not want one lead provider because you have the same issue, right? They don't want to rely on one company to provide the leads. Now there are companies that I am like their only lead provider, or I am most of their leads, and that's a problem. Not a problem. That's a lot of pressure on me because now I feel like I have to do the right thing and always give them what they need, and if I don't, like I screw them up, and you could put someone out of business because their employees will leave if they're not getting leads. Like you got to understand, like it's going a little bit further into it, but that's when you deal with smaller companies. When you deal with larger companies, it's not a big deal. Right. But when you get a personal relationship with somebody working for a year or 2 years, like you want to do the right thing. So about this whole thing, right? I put an ad on Facebook. That person, or wherever, Google, LinkedIn, whatever, then that person goes to your landing page. When they fill out the form on the landing page, depending on your business, the way I have it set up is after they fill out the form, their data goes to my API system and then gets routed to my buyers. It also goes to my email system, and I start sending emails. Then I also, if they pick up the phone and call the number on the landing page, it goes to my calling platform, right? And all this is in the training in more detail. Then you have SMS marketing if you want to do that with the leads. And then for me, I have a credit monitoring company that after someone fills out the form, I automatically route that person in real time, and I send them to this offer. So you want to have your real-time buyers and your aged buyers and your thank you page offer. Like after they fill out the form, oh, thank you for filling out the form. Hey, check this out. That type of thing. You always want one of these. So if you're doing this, say, auto finance, maybe the thank you offer could be auto warranty, auto insurance, or credit, right? Credit repair, because they probably have bad credit, right? So this is the basic structure of how I have my setup. And then each individual thing, you obviously need to learn and set up and make everything work together. I just started testing a form abandonment software, this company that does it, and it's working. So far, it's working really well. So once I get further along and it's definitely working, I have a whole strategy. I'll put that into the training for everyone so you can start doing that, because the two most important parts are driving down your lead cost. Part of that is running good ads and getting the click-through rates, having a really good landing page so you can collect your information. And then from there, it's monetizing the data.
Can you mention what a form abandonment company does, just for people who might not know?
It's basically when someone fills out a form, and what they do is they start to fill out the form, and if they leave without filling out the form, you still have their information. So you ever go to like Walmart, Target, Amazon, start the cart process, and you put something in your cart, and then you get emails, hey, I just want to let you know you didn't buy your stuff, right? Maybe you didn't add on Facebook. Target does that. You go on Target, you do something, and all of a sudden you get a Facebook ad. So, you got remarketing and retargeting and all this other stuff that you can do, in terms of your marketing strategy. That's all other stuff. But in terms of I just want to make this video the overall layout, the idea of how this business is structured, and your individual, business that you're in is going to be different. Like he mentioned, 5 to 7 fields, but if you're on mortgage, that's like 30 fields, right? I mean, every business is going to be a little different in how many fields you have and whatever. And that's it. So we'll leave this video as it, and then we'll make the next one and hopefully get you guys going this business. And all I have to say is don't give up, man. This business has put over $5 million in my pocket the last 3 years, and you just got to find your verticals that you're good at. You got to get them while they're hot. Don't get them while you're down. Business loan, lead gen, it's not on its way down. It's leveled off, but it's gone down and leveled off. So it's not as good as it used to be. I can still make money because I've been in it. Really hard to enter it now. I'm not doing this because I want everyone to jump into the business loan world. You can certainly do it. I know people are doing it. James is doing it. And I know other people that are doing it. But I wouldn't recommend someone try to make money in the business loan world today. Auto finance, better. Student loans, hot. There's a lot of others that are really good. But if you don't even have a vertical to go into, or the only vertical you thought you were going to go into business on, then yeah, sure, do it. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying it's harder today than it used to be. So, and what I mean by that, it means you have to implement more monetization strategies. When I had my first buyer, I had one buyer. Generate leads had one buyer. Generate leads had one buyer. I was making a $40 a lead profit. Wasn't doing anything. Now I need to implement, credit monitoring, set up the calling, do the API, do my age leads, sell age leads, do affiliate. I got to implement everything to make a good profit. So it's a little different, and my lead price is a little higher than it used to be. But hopefully this new form abandonment stuff will fix that. So that's it. I am going to show you how to create a website. This website's going to be on WordPress, so at this point in time, you should have WordPress installed, and I am logged in right now. To log into your WordPress site, if you don't know, you go to your website name. So let's just say your domain name is called bestbizloans.com, and then you put a /WP-admin. This is how you log in. Whatever your username and password is, that's how you get to this point. So now you're logged in. Now I am making this video for two trainings, one for the business loan and brokering training, and one for the lead generation training. So it's the same exact website for both of you. And then for the lead generation people, you can tweak the site for whatever you need. I'll make an extra video for that. For the business loan people, you keep this website exactly as is. For both of you, for both groups, this website I'm going to show you how to build works. And now it may not be the prettiest site, but I gotta tell you, if you have any experience doing this stuff, you do not need a pretty website to generate leads. I've seen great websites, great designs, do crappier than ugly sites, just so you know. Now this site is also built for mobile. It doesn't really look that great on a desktop. It doesn't, because it's not designed for a desktop. 95% of your traffic is mobile. So you look on a mobile phone, you can't see designs on a mobile phone. You just really just see text. So it works. The form plugin that we use works because of how it's designed. You know, there's a lot of things that are put in place here to make it optimized for conversions, right? Because you want to generate leads. That's all you really care about with this website, is generating leads. It works for generating leads, and it also works for mobile. Those are the two most important things. You can certainly tweak and do this however you want, right? You can, once it's up, it's easy to tweak it and change things around, change colors. Sure, do whatever you want, test things out. That's fine. But I'm just telling you right now, what you see here is the best that we've seen for conversions for mobile and generating leads. So let's get into this. First thing you're going to do is download the zip file that is on the training page. So, all right, so right here, this is the zip file. This is what you're going to download. You're going to put it on your computer. If you're using a Windows PC, this is what you're going to do. You'll right-click on it, go to Extract All, and then you're going to do Extract. If you have a Mac, I used to use a Mac. I don't remember exactly how to do it. Google how to unzip a file if you don't know how to do it. How to unzip a zip file. I'm sure you probably right-click on it and do something similar and unzip or extract all. You hit extract, and it's going to open up a new folder. And there's also going to be another file right here. See the original one? And if you open that up, it's these are files. So this is what we're going to be working off of, just so you know when we do this. All right, so those are the files that you need. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, now that we're in here, is we're going to install plugins. So we go to plugins. Now, depending on which company you use for hosting, they put a lot of crap on here. So what, like, I use Bluehost for this. You see, this all came with the WordPress install. I do not want any of this stuff. So I am going to go here. I mean, you can probably keep Google Analytics if you want to set that up for yourself, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going to get rid of everything. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to deactivate everything first. So I'm just clicking all, hitting deactivate, apply. It's going to deactivate all of them. Now I'm going to do this again, hit delete, and you hit apply, you hit OK, and everything's going to disappear. So for this, listen, if you want to keep anything, keep whatever you want, but just for this sake, I'm going to get rid of everything. All right, so now when I come here, plugin page, it's going to say add new. Now what I want to do is I want to upload a plugin. You can get a whole bunch of plugins from WordPress and search for stuff, you know, for whatever you want to do for the future. Everything's right here. You just go to the top right, it says search plugins. You type in whatever type of plugin you want. But for this case, we're just going to do, hit up. So you're going to hit upload plugin. And what we're going to do is take those files that you have here, that I showed you right here, and you're just going to drag them over. So one of the ones that we need is BB plugin. I'm going to pull it over and drop it. See how it says BB plugin pro.zip? You hit install now. and then you're going to hit activate plugin. If you ever get an error here, sometimes people do this and then they kind of, I guess, forget about it. So sometimes it may give you an error that says it was already installed or it failed. It may already be in there. So then what you do is you go back to plugins and you see if it's here already. And if it's there, you just activate it. So just throwing it out there. So we're going to do add new again. We're just going to install all three of these first. The next one is gravityforms.zip. Actually, I'm sorry. You have to do upload plugin first, then gravityforms.zip. We're going to do next. You drag it over, hit install now, activate plugin, and then the next one, do add new again, upload plugin, and then the last one is the O add script header footer. Drag that over, and you're good to go. Install now, activate plugin, and you're good to go. The next one, now if you do, just show you, add new. If you want to upload a plugin from your computer, you just hit the browse. If you don't want to drag and drop like I just did, you hit the browse button. It's going to show your stuff, like your stuff here, and then you just pick whatever folder you downloaded them in, and then you just choose the file and do it that way. Just so you understand, there is another way to do it. All right, so the plugins are installed. Let me go over these real quick. This plugin is just really to put scripts on each page. I'll show you that later on, what that means. Gravity Forms is your forms plugin. This does cost money to use, just so you know. You can install it for free, but in order to really use it, they force you to buy a license. The reason why I'm showing you this plugin, I'm using this plugin because it's the best plugin I've ever used for this type of stuff. If you need to be creative with your form and you want to have it do a lot of different things, and I show that in other videos, like how to use Gravity Forms. It's just worth it. You can certainly use whatever plugin you want, but for the lead generation people, if you ever want to connect this to an API or lead distribution software, this works. This is the best I've ever found. Of course, you can try to find another form plugin if you want to save the money. The Beaver Builder plugin, technically, they do have a license, but you really don't need to use it. I bought it just because I didn't care, so I just bought it. But you can get away with not buying a plugin with this. You should be able to anyway. So that's the three plugins. This is all you need to set up the website. Again, if you want to use other plugins like Google Analytics and anything else, sure, go do whatever you want. But just for this, you can do this. So now for Gravity Forms, what's happening is it's going to say register your copy or purchase one. Let me just do this because a lot of people ask this question. So when you go to Gravity Forms, this is their website to buy it. So their pricing is $3. Just buy the basic license, the cheapest one. That's all you need. You have one website. If that, this is all you need. If you have multiple sites, like 3, then sure, buy this one. But if you just have one website, just buy this one. That's all you need. I have this one because it's the unlimited websites. That's the one I use. Just because I have so many websites. But I gotta tell you, every year they only charge like $99 after the first year because you always get a discount going forward. There's usually a discount when you're a repeat buyer, so that's good. So, but just buy this if you need. So that's that. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna upload the themes. So we go to Appearances. Now, if you have themes here already, just delete them. Let's start with the one over here. Delete. Hit the delete button in the bottom right-hand corner. Click on it. Delete the bottom right-hand corner, and you're good to go there. You can't delete one that's being used. You need to have at least one theme. So now what we're going to do is add a new theme. We're going to upload the theme, and we're going to drag and drop like we did before. So you're going to do bbtheme.zip. Drag that right here. It's going to pop up the name next to it. Install now. And then we're going to... Now, the one you want to activate is bbtheme.zip. So as long as you put up bbtheme.zip, do this one first, like I said, and hit activate. This is the main theme that you need to activate. The other one is a child theme, which we're not going to get into what that really means. It doesn't even matter. It's just the way that they program this stuff, but it's not going to change anything on your end. So bbtheme-child, pull that up, move it right to here. Drop it. It's going to show bbtheme.child. Install now. All right, so when you get to this point, you don't, if it's the BB theme child, you don't do anything here. Just go back to appearances, and now what you're going to do is this one should be on the left side, the child theme should be on the right side, and this one you click on it and delete it. If you have a third one. If you don't have a third one, then you don't do anything. But all you need is these two. This is what should look like at the end. Okay, so that's it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to settings. I'm sorry, tools, and we're going to import because we have to import some files. On the bottom left, you have WordPress install now. Hit install now, and then you're going to do run importer. Click on that. Okay, so the one you're going to install is WordPress-Pages. All right, WordPress-Pages is the one that you're going to do here. You click on that, you move it up right on the top of the browse. It's going to say WordPress-Pages.xml, upload file and import. And then you're going to choose whatever your name is. So just this drop-down box, just choose whatever admin name you put in. Click this little button next to download and import file attachments and hit submit. If you want to do a new name here, you can certainly do a new one, but just choose the one that's ever in this list, and that's fine. Submit. Okay, so now, as long as it says all done, have fun, you're good. Don't worry about anything else that it says. Okay, so next thing, go to settings. You're going to go to reading. Click on a static page. Under home page, drop down box, go to small business services. Hit save changes. Next thing you do is go to pages. And you're going to see the sample page. Hit trash next to sample page. That's just a page that it automatically does. Get rid of that. WordPress automatically install it. So you only should have 4 pages here. You have About Us, Privacy Policy, Small Business Services, and Thank You. That's it. So Small Business Services is your front page, and then the other 3. So the next thing to do is the forms. So you're going to click on Forms, and then you're going to say Import Export. Oh wait, I'm sorry. First thing to do is put in your key. So first you have to buy it. Now I'm going to put my key in. Hit Next once you have it. And you can say keep background updates enabled. Hit Next. This stuff you can just keep hitting Next. You don't really need to worry about this. And then don't hit create a form. We're going to import one. Import export. You're going to, on the top left, you say import forms. Hit, and now here's the file again. You're going to take the file. Now this one is gravity forms-export. You're going to take this form and you're going to move it over. And it should say gravity forms-export to date.json. So that's what it should say. Hit import. And now your form's in here. So the next thing we're going to do, go to appearances, customize. And we are going to go to import export at the bottom. You're going to hit install and activate. Then you do activate plugin. Now we go back to appearances, do customize, and go to the bottom export import again. You hit, now you're going to pull the file up again. So this one we're going to choose bb-theme-export.dat. Pull up, go right over browse. You should see the name pop up to the right of it. Click the download and import images file button and hit the import button. Now on the right side, you should see your page look like this, right? Top right, you have call 5555. You should see in the top here, a small business service, you have form. Everything you see here, this is the site. Now we're going to do a couple more things. Go to header. On the top it says header layout. And you see where it says 5555. Just put your phone number there. Just change, the numbers to your numbers. Don't do anything else. That's all you need to do. So whatever your numbers are, just put them in. And then, so let's just change them. So let's just say I do, instead of 555, I do, 1, 2, 3. Next 555, I do 4, 5, 6. Next 555, I do 7, 8, 9, 0. And then I do the same thing here. Obviously, I'm going to do the same phone number. 7890. And on the top right here, you're going to see the phone number change. But you still have to save it. But we're not leaving yet. So see this publish button at the top? That's what you're going to hit. when you leave, before you leave. Now we're going to do your go back twice, hit the back button twice, and hit footer. Go to footer layout. And you see where it says put website here? Just put your website there. So let's just say your website is, you know, bizloans.com. Depending on what year it is, you know, if it's 2018 still, put 2018 in the next year. If it's 2019, do 2019-20. If it's 2020, hopefully we'll have a new video by then. But that's it. So now what you're going to do is hit publish, and everything will save. Now hit the X button on the top left here. And now we are going to go to menus. Now you're going to hit appearances. You're going to go down to menus. And we are going to create a new menu. See, create a new menu. Click that. And hit menu name. Let's just call it home. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't mean anything. It's only for your stuff here. No one else is going to see that word. Now we're going to do privacy policy and about us. Click those two. Add the menu. And then on the bottom here it says footer menu. Check that. Hit save. And that is all you need to do there. The next thing we're going to do is see what the site looks like. Okay. So now you see this is the website. We changed our domain name at the bottom. You have the two links at the bottom here that we just did in the menu, and everything else is here. So now the last thing we're going to do is for you to go to pages. You're going to go to privacy policy. And this is how you edit a page. In WordPress, how you edit a page, you have a visual editing and a text editing. You can do this on the privacy policy page. So what you do is you choose whichever one you want, doesn't matter. And what you're going to do is you're going to look for, this is the easiest way. Let me just show you the easiest way to do this. You take text, go to text, you do here, and you copy and paste. So you do Control A, that's for select all, and Control C for copy. The other way to do it, let me see. Okay, so right click on the page and go to select all, and then right click on the page and go to copy. That's the other way to do it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over Notepad. And I'm going to take Notepad, I'm going to expand it for you, and I'm going to copy and paste the thing here. This is the easiest way to do it. You go to this line over here where it says the domain name. You're going to take that domain name. You're going to highlight it. You're going to copy it. Then you're going to do a replace. Do Control H. You do Control H, you're going to see this pop up. It says replace. And then you're going to put the domain you just copied in there, which is this one. And you're going to put yours. So let's just say yours is bizloans.com. What this is going to do is going to find the old domain name for the other website, and it's going to put in your new your domain name. You're going to hit replace all. Hit replace all once, hit cancel, and it all changed. So now you're going to see bizloans.com everywhere. It just, did a whole replace and a whole entire thing. Now you're going to take this whole entire thing, right click, select all, right click, copy. You're going to get rid of this page. You're going to go back to WordPress. Now we're back in WordPress, right? Make sure text is clicked. You're going to go back here. You're going to do select all. You're going to delete. All gone. Now you're going to right click and go to paste. And it's going to put your new stuff. So everywhere you see bizloans.com, bizloans.com, bizloans.com. So now you just change your whole entire privacy policy page. That's the easiest way to do it. The other way is for you to manually go one at a time. Feel free to do that and just change it one at a time. But that's the easiest way to find replace all. On the right side, you hit update, and now you just updated that page. So now I'm not going to go into, I'm going to make a new video on how to mess around with your home page. I'm not going to worry about that in this video because we're done. Your website's up. For the people that just want to use this as is, you're good. I'll make another video to make some tweaks. But you're good to go. So if we click on the About Us page, this page is going to come up. We left this page, so it's very just general. You can go in here and certainly change whatever you want. Actually, the last thing I'm going to do is show you how to put up your logo. Sorry about that. And then, so you can change the thank you page the same way you change the privacy policy page. The thank you page,
we obviously just left this short and sweet. You can leave text or visual, and you can type whatever you want to put your phone number here. You want to write whatever you want here. You have text and visual. If you hit visual, you can use you can do bold, italic. You can hit this button on the right hand side. It says toggle toolbar toggle. Click that. Gives you more stuff. You want to change the color, make it red, right? So whatever you want to do, you want to type in whatever you want. I'm going to scroll down real quick and tell you this. Right here, the add script slash style to be added, this thing. Right here, this is where you put your Facebook pixel, just so you know ahead of time. That video will show you where to put it, but just so you know, that's where that goes. This for your Facebook pixel. You can put, other scripts here. It says add script to be added to the footer of the page before the Google remarketing. This is another page, another area to put stuff. So, but right here, this box is the one where you put your Facebook pixel. So now, this is it. So that's that page. So the About Us page, the privacy policy page, and the thank you page you can change exactly as is. But the small business service page, this is your home page, you have to edit with the page builder. So if you hit launch page builder, it'll come up and it'll be much easier to change. So, this is like telling you your first time here, you like to take a tour, you can do that if you want. So this, I'll make another video on how to mess around with this if you guys want to make changes to anything. The lead gen people, you probably will have to make changes because if you're going to do a different vertical like auto finance, small business loans, I'm sorry, student loan, mortgages, whatever type of site you want to do, I have to make that video for you guys anyway. So, but I'll just make that video and just make it available for everyone so you can go in here and start changing stuff. So that's it for this video, and that's it. So, oh yeah, sorry. Let me do the logo. So the logo, you go to Appearances to change the logo. You go to Appearances, Customize. You're going to go to Header, and you're going to go to Header Logo. And then what you're going to do is just select your image. So select image. You're going to hit select image, and you're going to pull it off your computer. So hit select image. Your computer stuff's going to come up. Your files on your computer. You pick your logo. You hit the button, and it'll pop up. So let me just try to find a logo for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm glad I did this. Forgot. So when I click that, this comes up. If you already have you hit Media Library, and you actually you might have a lot of images in here. So if you have it in here already, great. This is where you get it from WordPress. They may already have stuff in here. If not, you want to upload it to your computer. Upload files. Now you can drag and drop, right? So I always just like drag and drop. So let me just find a image here for you. I'm just going to drag one over. So again, drop files to upload. Just pick whatever image you want. See on the bottom right, you can hit choose image. And then this would never be a logo you would use, and then you hit publish. And that's how you add your logo. You have to hit publish. It'll appear on the top left here. Make it a horizontal logo, whatever you do. Don't do vertical because then it'll screw up the top here. Now, if you ever want to remove or change the image, just hit these buttons and just put it back in and you're good. So that's how you do that. The last thing I want to show you is how to set up your notifications. So hover over home page. Now you're on Forms. On the left side, click Forms. Hover over home page, go to Settings, hover over Settings, and then go down to Notifications. In here, it should say Lead or something else. And what you're going to do is you're just going to basically put in your email address. So Gmail does work the best. I've had problems using emails outside of Gmail. You can try it and see if it works. Try it, put your email in here. Go fill out the form, see if you get the email. Great if it works. If it doesn't, I don't know what the problem is. You can go to Gravity Form Support. They're great. Ask them if they have any issues. I just stick with Gmail. It works. It makes my life easy, but certainly do whatever you want. Now, you're just where it says your email here at Gmail, you're going to put your email in these 4 spots. That's all you're going to do. And now on the bottom, see where it says subject? This is your subject to the email. This is an email you're going to get. All right, so you can put whatever your subject line is. And the easy thing to do is just leave this alone as all fields. If you want to change this, on the right-hand side is a little button. Just click that, and you can put in specific fields. So whatever your fields are, this one is gross monthly sales, time of business. You can click on these and put in specific fields. So then now they're going to obviously send these fields to you. You can space them out if you want. You can do whatever you want here. So, and I'll just get rid of all fields and say, here is the data, right? Whatever you want to do. So this is exactly what it will look like. So if I want to add another one and just say credit score, it'll put credit score here. You don't have to do anything. You just leave it there, and you can format it however you want. You can do bold and make this red, and whatever you want to do. But this is the email you're going to get. Why this line is here, I have no idea. But I'm just going to get rid of everything. Go back to all fields, which is on the all submitted fields here, and that's it. On the bottom, go all the way down to the bottom. You can just hit update notification, and you're good to go. And now test out your form and see if it works and see if you get the data. They have auto formatting and enable conditional logic here. I mean, if you need it, click on it. You really shouldn't for this. All you really need to do is just choose all fields most of the time and format this email however you want, and that's it. They do have a BCC here. You can send this to somebody else if you want. You can put more emails here. So if you can do whatever your email is and then do a comma, just make sure there's a comma, and then put as many emails as you want, and it will send it to all the emails at the same time. You can do other stuff, like select a field, um, or configure routing. So if you say send to this person, so put your email here, send to your email if the gross monthly sales is a startup, right? And then you can hit the plus sign and do more. Put it to this email if it's what is your growth monthly sales is less than 5K in revenue, right? And whatever you want to do, you can mess around with this and configure routing. There's a little a question mark, hover over it, it tells you what everything means, right? All here too, and here. So do whatever you want, but this is exactly how you do it, and then you're good to go after that. I wanted to show you how to change around the site a little bit. Now, you don't need to make many changes. Now, I am in WordPress. I'm already logged in. I clicked on pages, so we're here on the pages. Now, what's going to happen is in this page, you are going to see small business services front page. Now, you can change this to whatever you want. So you click on small business services, and it's going to open up. You want to change the title of the page, it's right here. Change it to whatever you want. If you want to change the actual page, click on Launch Page Builder. And the page is going to pop up. Now, this is all drag and drop type stuff. So I'm just going to show you how to edit it, and then you can do whatever you want. But let me quickly just say, you can delete whatever you want. If you want to delete this whole entire section on the bottom here, when you hover over it, you can delete any individual section that a box pops up in. So you see how in each box pops up in each one, and there's an X at the top. Or if you want to delete this whole entire section, you hit this X over here. So when you hover and you see boxes pop up, that means you're in that section. So this is a subsection of this whole entire section here. So if you want to edit this, you hover over this. It says row settings. You can move it. You can duplicate it. You can do whatever you want inside here. So if you want to change these testimonials to something else and just change the images, go and do that. You just hit the little wrench thing for photo settings. You go in here, and you can change whatever you want. So you see it says photo full size. You can remove this. Remove this image and put a new one in. Do whatever you want here. You want to edit it, go ahead and click the edit button and put whatever you want to do, you can do. So if you want to switch to photo, just click another photo, whatever it is, and hit select photo, and it'll replace that photo. So if I just wanted to just do this one, let's just say, hit select photo, what's going to happen is hit save on the bottom left here, and the photo changed. If you want to do this, hit hit the little wrench here, meet Marcy, blah, 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 change it to whatever you want. You got visual and text. So you can choose whatever you want. You want to change the color, you hit red, and it changes to red. You can have all the options. An advanced button here, you can do margins, anything you want is all in here. You just go through it to change whatever you want. So I'll save that just for the heck of it. So now if you want to delete this whole entire section, you just hit X, remove it, and this whole entire thing will disappear. Everything from this X below, where this blue line is. See this blue rectangle? If I hit X, it deletes this, or if I edit this, it just changes anything in here. If I scroll up, see how I hover over here? Everything's its own box again. You see that? If you want to change it, hit the little wrench, replace the icon image, and you can put a new one in, whatever you want. You want to make it clickable, you put the link in here. Just read everything, and then you'll see what you have the ability to do. So for most people, if you want to change the words around, you hit the wrench over the apply for free today and just change it. Apply for free today, exclamation point. And you see how it added the exclamation point. You want to do it here, over the wrench, change the words around. Whatever you want. You want to take out, this part right here, take out that part right here, hit save, and do whatever you want. You want to change the color, bold, whatever you want. Up here, let's just say, now this is good for mobile, this website. So look at it on your phone to see how it lays out. Now, if you want to move this, so if you want to move this stuff around, you just hover over the move, and you can actually move this stuff around. So you see how it tells you where it's going to go. Just put it wherever you want. Okay, if you put it in a spot and it kind of gets all screwed up and you want to go back to the way it was, realistically what you do, you hit the back, you just get out of this page, right? I mean, even if you refresh, it may not actually revert back to what you tried to change. So you could hit done, and after you hit done, you can do discard, save, draft, or publish. So if you discard, that means it's going to change any changes that you made. If you do save draft, it'll save it as a new draft. And if you publish, it'll save this page. So don't hit publish unless you're 100% happy with what you did. So if I hit discard, right, do you really want to discard these changes? Okay, now it's going to revert back to what I originally started with. All right, so whatever changes I made. So now, if you want to make any changes, you can go back here and start to do so. So now I'm actually on the page now. After you hit discard and do that, you have to go back to page builder. So if you're on this page, it's not letting me edit it. I had to hit page builder up here, and it lets me go back and edit. Now, when you start hovering over, you see all these boxes. Now you can edit, just so you know. You can't edit the top here in this section, the logo or the numbers, the phone number. You have to do that in the part where I showed you in the last video. Same thing with the bottom. The footer, you can't edit this here. You can only edit anything that a box appears. So you can do whatever you want here. You want to move stuff around and change, move the form on the right side so it comes down below this. That's fine, right? You can just do whatever you want. It's your site. But just look out on the phone to see how it lays out. Now, if I wanted to do this and click on here and change the wording, this is actually a table, the way that we have this set up. So you can go in here and edit whatever you want. So if you want to change, answer a question to get approved, just look for that. The way I like to do this stuff, you copy and paste this, right? Select all, copy, you pull up like Notepad, right? And then you change it in Notepad. It's actually a lot easier to see. Obviously, you'd want to, make this a little better. So let's just say we go like this. And we look at this, say, okay, answer questions to get approved, and just change that. Maybe I want to, instead of saying answer question to get approved, just say, answer questions below. Maybe because for whatever you want to do, right? Whatever stuff. If you want to change the light blue background, you change this color to whatever you want. So right in here, and this is Gravity Form ID number 1. So this is your actual form. So if you add new forms to Gravity Forms, you just got to make sure you change the 1 to a 2 or a 3, whatever you do. So there's really not much here, but then I just copy this whole entire thing, right? Select all, copy, go back here, and I do the same thing. Select all, paste, well, select all, and then do Control V, and I'll paste it. And then if you hit save, so it sees how it says answer questions below. So it changed everything. Everything stayed the same. I just changed that one wording. But it's easier to see it because it's such a small window. So, and then you can't change your form here, just so you know. The form, you have to go into Gravity Forms plugin in order to change that. But if I wanted to go here, hit the wrench, and just say, bad credit, okay, and just change the stuff around, it's a little easier to do it in text mode than visual. And then you just got to look for the wording. Again, you can do this all in Notepad. Just copy, paste, go in here, delete this, paste it, and then, change whatever you want. So if I want to say, instead of bad credit, okay, just say, whatever. I'll just put a bunch of Z's in, just whatever you want to type, whatever you're trying to sell. Just put a bunch of letters in, change your word around to whatever you want. Just look for the wording. And if you want to delete it, there's a table. So if you ever want to delete a line here, you go table CTR, that means table row. So that's what you delete. So you go from the table row right here, that's where it opens the table row tag, and then down to table row where it has the little forward slash in front of it. That will delete the whole entire row. So if I delete that, that'll get rid of the wording no application. But you have to do the whole thing. So I'm just going to delete this. And then now, if I copy and paste this back, go back here, I copy, delete. See how when I just deleted it, all disappeared? Now I go in, I paste the wording, everything just changed. So it got rid of that one row, and then I just changed whatever I put in there. So it's much easier to kind of edit that way. And then you just hit save and you're good to go. So now, again, you can do that for anything you want. You want to delete this whole entire row. Look, hit X, hit OK, that whole row deleted. You hit X, OK, this whole row deleted, right? It's all gone, done. So now, if you want to discard, done, discard, OK, you're back to this page. You hit page builder on top. Now you go back and you do whatever you want. So if you just want to make changes and not have to actually worry about screwing up the page because this is a live home page, let's just say, and you just want to play around with it, this is what you do. You click here, you go to duplicate layout. All right, so then you hear and you see how it says home/copy. I'm going to go to pages now. And so you see how it says small business services front page. That's your home page. Then this one, it says draft. That's now the new one that you can mess around with. Now you go here, go to page builder, and now you can do whatever you want. If you want to mess around, you screw it up, doesn't even matter anymore. So you can go and, again, just start messing around with it. You want to move this around. Let's say you move this around in here and you kind of screw it up because it kind of like doesn't look right now. And now you got to bring this one over here. And then this one over here, just to kind of make it look somewhat right. And you got to delete this one. Okay, so that's now I just swapped them. So if you want to see how I just swapped them, just watch the video over again and you see exactly what I just did. But that's how I just swapped them from right to left. So now if you look at your phone, this will come up first on your phone, then this, then the form. The way I had it before, the form was on the left side. So whatever's on the left side will come up first because on a mobile device, it'll put everything longer instead of side by side. Then you take this and you put it back, and then the form will come up first, then this wording. So you can play around with this and do whatever you want. So then if you're done and you want to publish, you just hit done and publish and it will save it. So that's how you change this page and mess around with it and do whatever you want. Now, I'm not going to save that. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go back to these three. So the privacy policy, the about us, and thank you. These you just change in WordPress. You don't need to do the page builder. So on the right side, you have visual and text. You can do whatever you want. You want to put more word in here. You want to put another form in here. You want to just put your phone number. You want to just tell people what to do. Whatever you want to do is all here. You can change your color, bold, italic, all this stuff. You can do whatever you want. Now, if I go to forms, I'm going to show you a little bit about Gravity Forms. If I want to go to forms, I go to home page. This is my form on my home page. Now, this is the page form. Now, if you want to change this around, in this video, what I'll do is, well, let me just show you a couple things. So if you click here on the top, it's going to make this wider. Now, the way Gravity Forms works is this is your field label. For every form is going to be the same way, every field. What is your gross monthly sales? So for business loan people, this is it. You can change this to whatever you want. You want to say, instead of what is your gross monthly sales, maybe you're, maybe you're in the mortgage world, right? And you say, what is your income? I don't even know what questions you would ask. But let's just say it's what is your income? And you change this to whatever you want. You want to say, now once you start making changes, because this form has conditional logic in it, if you start making changes, it will ask you this question: do you want to break the conditional logic? Which is fine. Just hit OK. But you have to do that a bunch of times if you're going to change the whole entire form up, just so you know. The other way is just to create a brand new form from scratch, totally up to you. But you change this to whatever you want, maybe less than, $50,000 salary. Maybe that's your question. Then you just take this and you copy it over to this value, so those two values are the same. And then you just take it and do whatever you want. So that's how you change the form around. You can delete stuff. See how I hit delete button? So I can delete these values. Maybe I don't want them anymore. and you want to put your own values in, right? So you could do that. When you hit appearance, the only thing in appearance, it's really going to ask you like where do you want to put the description placement. Just mess around with this. You can do whatever you want. You're really never going to use custom validation message or custom CSS. I mean, if you really want to get that into it, you can. Advanced, you can make it visible. You can hide these. So just to make your life easier, if you want to, you can just make this a straight administrative or a hidden so no one can see them. But just remember to turn off required. If you're going to make it hidden or something like that, just uncheck required, because sometimes I forget exactly. I think it was hidden or administrator. I forget. But I left it required once, but they didn't see it and it was required, so we could fill out the form. So just if you're going to do that, you can just make sure required is turned off. But required, you can also do no duplicates. So that means that no one could ever fill out the form twice. And then you can, they also have bulk add predefined choices. So you can do states, continents, gender, age, so all this stuff's all ready to go for you. So you can choose that. And now, again, you can change whatever you want. If you want to delete this, you just hit the X and you just delete it. And there you go. It's now that's gone. So let me just refresh this page so everything comes back to normal. So now the way that I have this set up is this is the first field. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the website, how the form works, so you can visually see it. So you see startup. So it doesn't matter what they choose here. The next one pops up. Then you hit this one and the next one pops up. After they do what is your credit score, the rest is going to pop up. So you see how the rest of it popped up? So I'm going to show you how that happened. And the reason why I do that is because if you had a really long form, some people look at it like, oh God, I don't want to fill that out. But let me just refresh the page. But if they see or they just see one question, they actually don't know how long the form is. So they're like, all right, okay, let me do this one. All right, whatever. And now that they kind of started it, they feel like, some people feel like, oh, I have to finish it now because I started it. Now like, all right, let me just finish this off. But if you see all of it in one shot, they may just run away. Just throwing that out there. So if you go back to forms and you go edit it, if the top one is always going to pop up, the second one you click on it and you go to advanced, and there's this thing called enable conditional logic. If you check that off, or it's already going to be checked off. And what it basically says is show, right? You can show or hide. So show this field if any of the following match. And this is any and all. You never really want to choose all. It's usually any, but I guess it depends on your situation, but typically it's going to be any. And it says gross monthly sales. Here's all my options, right? So gross monthly sales is, and you have all these options under here, is, and then startup. And then it gives you all the options in that field. So this is all coming from field ID 1, right? This top one. What is your gross monthly sales? So then it's saying is, okay, show how long have you been in business if any of these happen. And I chose every single one because I want this to show, no matter what they choose above, I want this field to show. So now this shows after they choose an option in the first one. Now, if you go to what is your credit score, it's all the same thing. What is your credit score? Go to advanced, and it says enable conditional logic. And then I choose time in business, which is the one right above it. How long have you been in business? So now if they choose any one of those four options, the credit score shows up just like I showed you. And then there's this thing right here that's kind of hidden. It's called section. On the right side, it is under standard fields, and it's called section. So I chose that. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up. The field label is blank. The reason why, because I don't want anybody to know that really exists. So the field level is just blank. You can write whatever you want here, and then that whatever you write there will show on the website. So if you really want to put something there and show it, that's fine. But I didn't want anything to show. The appearance you have to worry about. In advanced, it's the same thing for credit score. So it says, what is your credit score? So now it says credit score is, and then it shows every option for credit score. So this happens no matter what. As long as they choose to have a credit score, this is going to pop up, this section. What does that mean, the section? The section is everything below it. First name, last name, phone, email, company. That means all of this stuff is going to show as long as they choose something in credit score. But I did it via the section. You don't do it via the actual individual field. If you want to, you can. You can go to first name, and then you can say, okay, if they chose a credit score, show first name and then last name. It's kind of a pain in the butt when you start to get into these open fields because there's really no specific thing. So you got to be, I'm sure there's a way to do it where you can say, okay, show last name if someone puts in their first name. I know there's a way to do it. I just never actually figured it out because I never cared. But I just never looked into it because once you get to this point, you can just let the rest of the fields open up and just let them fill it out. But if you want to have each one individually open up or appear after they type in their first name and last name, then after they type in the last name, then phone number and so on, there's a way to do it, and it's all in conditional logic. So you do it, enable conditional logic. Actually, let me go to last name. So if I do last name, do advanced, enable conditional logic, then you basically have to figure it out and say, show this field if any happens. Then I got to go to first name, and I got to figure out what to put. I'm not 100% sure what you would do because your options are is not, greater than, less than, contains, start with, and end with. And I'm like, which one do I choose? If I contacted Gravity Form support, which they are really good, because you're going to buy the license to use this, and you say, hey guys, if I want to do this, they'll just tell you what to do, but I'm not 100% sure on how to do that based on a text field where someone's just putting a name. So I'm sure there's a way to do it, and they would tell you, but it was never a big deal, so I never looked into it. Now, two things I'll show is phone. Okay, if you're going to put a phone field in and you're creating a new form, you don't just choose text field. Like first name and last name, see where it says single line text here? And on the right side, it says single line text. All right, so they have a phone. So under advanced fields, they have a phone and an email field. So that's why I chose phone and email field. I'm sorry, actually, I screwed up. This actually is single line text. This should be an email field. So what I would do is just swap that out. I hit email, just click on it. It's going to come up to the bottom. I'm going to pull this up. You just click on it, pull it up. So now you say email field. Now I can get rid of this one, delete that one, and now I have email field. So that's the way it actually should be set up. So for your email field and phone, you're good to go. Now, what does that mean? Now, if this doesn't say email field, the reason why you have an email field is because when someone's filling out on their phone, it actually makes it easier to put their email in. It has like the @ symbol and stuff. The same thing with phone. If it's the phone, then it actually turns into the phone keypad, make it easier to put in the phone number. So that's the reason why that's set up like that, just so you understand. So phone and email. So outside of that, you have company name. Now, if you want to add more stuff, just look over here. You have address. You click address, right? And then it gives you a whole entire address. You don't have to do each individual one. So now you can click on this, go down, and you can turn it on and off. So if you want to turn off country, just hit the button. If you want to turn off address line 2, just click that button, and then they'll disappear. If you want to make a required field, you hit required. If you want to not do international, do United States or Canadian, then just click United States, and you can still turn address line 2 off if you want, if you don't need it. But if you hit required, it'll make it required. So just choose whatever you need. And if you want to do a file upload, a website, a date, whatever you want, it's all here. You want to throw in captchas. Sometimes I think you need to buy additional services to put captchas in. Then you got post fields. Just go through this and see whatever fits what you're trying to do. But it's really cool because you can put these forms in, Gravity Forms, and then just have all this conditional logic and all this cool stuff happen. This is just the easiest plugin that I've ever worked with. And then if you ever want to connect to an API, which is like a CRM, like a Salesforce or something like that, then this also works well with that. And there's another video that explains how to do that. That's really more for the lead gen training people than the business loan people. If you're doing business loan and the consulting and stuff, you really don't need the CRM and lead distribution software. You don't need any of that. But if you're doing the lead generation and you're selling leads, then you're most likely going to have to go down that road and learn that. But again, all that's in another video anyway, and you're good to go. But this I just want to go over the basics. Now, other thing I'll do here, so you're still here in your form, you hit settings. If you go to form settings, that's fine, I'm just going to leave the page without saving it. So under form settings, you can go in here and change whatever you want. You want to change the name of the button on the text on the button, just do whatever you want here. Just read it all and just do whatever you want. The two things I'll go over is confirmations. So this is where somebody goes if they fill out the form. So if I'm going to click on this, default confirmation. So you're basically saying if someone fills out the form, go to my thank you page. You can choose any page. You can do a text and type in whatever you want, and this will just pop up on the screen. You can redirect to another website. Just hit redirect and put it in. But page right now it's set for a thank you page. That's all you need for now. But again, you can do whatever you want. But now you can do multiple confirmations. So let's just say you do add new and you want to do another confirmation. So let's just call this, whatever, 2. So then I'm going to say, all right, if someone now, let's just say my privacy policy. I mean, there's no reason to send someone to your privacy policy, but since we don't have any pages, the pages set up, let's just say you said, all right, someone has a credit score, and it's make sure you change all to any, and then it's below 600, and you can do multiple. Hit the plus sign. You can say if the credit score is below 600 and it's 600, 649. So if someone chooses one of these 2 options, I want it to go to my privacy policy page. That's where I want to send them. So you could do any conditional logic you want in here under confirmations, whatever you want to do. And you can have a bunch of these. Now what's going to happen is if you add a second one, I'll just add the second one. So let me just do this real quick. Right? And then let's just keep it that for now. So now what's going to happen is conversation. There's going to be 2 of them. So you can turn this on and off right here. Just hit that button, it turns it on and off. So now what's going to happen is the default confirmation is the one it's going to do last. So what I mean by that is if someone fills out the form, it's going to go to this one first. And it's going to say, okay, does this match? Right? Whatever you put in here, does it match? And it's going to send a privacy policy page if this matches. If you have another one, a third one, and a fourth one, a fifth one, it's going to go one at a time. So you got to make sure that you put these in order that you want. All right? And obviously, whatever conditional logic you put in here, you got to make sure. And then what's going to happen is it's going to check this one. And if this one hits, it's going to go to privacy policy. You can do another one, and if it hits, it's going to go to that page, and we're going to do whatever you want it to do. Then if none of them hit, it's going to go to default confirmation. So that's the way they have it set up, and then you just choose whatever you want to do here. But this will be the default if none of these match. Under notifications, what you need to do is you go to lead. Well, this is called lead, if it's a different name. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to put your email here. So Gmail works the best, all right? Gmail does work the best here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to put whatever it is, whatever your email is, you put it here. You can try other emails, AOL, Yahoo, or custom email, whatever you want. If it doesn't work, if someone fills out the form or you fill out the form and you don't get the email, you got to go to Gravity Form Support and ask them. There's more to it. It's either that issue, it's a WordPress issue, whatever. I personally just use Gmail accounts. It always works every time at Gmail. But just so you know, if you don't use Gmail, you may not get the emails for whatever reason, and that's a whole other story, and that could be 100 different things, and I don't even know where to even start to try to fix all that stuff. So you can go to Gravity Form Support, ask them, and maybe they can help you, or just find an email that actually works and call it a day. But what you do is you take the same exact email, whatever your email is, and you put it in these 4 spots. That's what you do. Now, down here, there's a subject line of the email you're going to receive when you get this email. So whatever you want it to say in the subject line, you put that there. And you see down here, it says all fields. That means you're going to get every field. Every field that's in the form, you're going to get it via email, which is the best way to do it. If you want to change this on the right side here, and you can write your own text in here and bold it and whatever, you can do whatever you want. You can customize this email. I just leave it all fields because that's all I want is all the fields. On the right side is a little button right here. Merge tags. So you click on that and you can change it. You want to just do gross monthly sales. You want to do time and business, right? All the options. You say, all right, this is all I want. I just want these 3. You can do that. So you get rid of all fields and you just have gross monthly sales, time and business, and credit score. Now you can put these in a different line if you want. I don't know why this thing's there. Just get rid of this. Yeah, I don't know why this thing won't disappear right now, but that's okay. So you can do whatever you want. Let me just get rid of this. So if you want to do each individual one, you put it in here. You can write whatever text you want in here above. You can say, here is the data, whatever you want to do. And then it'll just give you these options. But me, again, I like to just put all fields. On the top one, all submitted fields. It does all fields and you're good to go. You on the bottom, you hit update notification, you're good to go. That's all you need to do. So that's your options. If you want to see your entries, you click on entries. And all your entries will be here. On the right side, there's a little button, and you can actually go in and, active columns, inactive columns. You can put all this, move this over. So let's just say phone. Phone doesn't exist right now. You move that over to the left, you hit save, and then phone will appear. See how phone just appeared here? So you can choose whatever you want and move all the stuff under settings, whatever you want to do. You can put the date, user IP, whatever you want is all here. And then you can search up here on the top right, you can search for specific leads. But again, you're going to get all these in your email anyway. So, but this is just like a backup, I guess you could say. So that's pretty much all you need to learn or all you need to know right now with this. But that's exactly how it's all set up. And so you can change your pages, you can mess around with the forms. So if you're doing a lead gen business, you probably, and you're doing something else, then you need to change your home page. You probably need to change your thank you page, maybe. That's probably, you can change your About Us page. You can add more pages if you want, like more thank you pages, because maybe you're doing, like for me, I have multiple thank you pages. I have a thank you page for business loans. I have a thank you page for credit repair people, right? Different types of leads I generate. So they each go to different thank you pages. So you can do that. Just create a new page, go to those that confirmation section and just say, all right, if someone chooses credit score or whatever, they go here. If someone chooses this, they go there. And then for so you want to change your actual home page around, right? Put a different logo up, different phone number. You want to maybe change the wording around because you're selling, auto finance leads. You just change the wording around. You can kind of keep everything the same and just change words around, and you should be pretty good. But if you want to make more changes than that, go ahead. So that's it. That's all you really need to know. Again, if you have questions, let us know.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to increase your PHP memory limit to allow you to upload files larger than 2 megabytes in size. So this will allow you to upload files such as plugins and themes and other media items to your WordPress website that are larger than 2 megabytes in size. So we're doing this today through GoDaddy. It may be different on other hosting sites, but the main goal is exactly the same. The site navigation may just be slightly different. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and log in. I've already done that. So I'm going to click on the drop down where my name is for my account. I'm going to click on Manage Hosting. And then a list of your websites are going to populate. You're going to click on the website that's being hosted that you want to edit and click the three little dots next to that site and just click on Settings. And then from this page, you're going to click on cPanel Admin. And once you get to your cPanel, you're going to go ahead and scroll down until you find Select PHP Version. Click on that. Then from there, switch to PHP Options. And then down here where it says Upload Max File Size, you're going to go ahead and click on where it says 2M for 2 megabytes. Click that, and then we're just going to go ahead and change it for now to 32 megabytes. You should really not have any files larger than a couple megabytes, so that should be fine for what we're doing. If you needed to, for some reason, change it to something higher, you can go ahead and do that up to 1 gigabyte. But like I said, for now we're going to do 32 megabytes. You're going to click Apply, and then the most critical part here is after you click Apply, you have to click Save. If you do not click Save, this will not work, and you'll still have the same issue. So once you click Save, you'll receive a confirmation message that the settings have been saved. And just like that, you'll now be able to upload files up to 32 megabytes in size on your WordPress website. Thank you for watching, and please let us know if you have any additional questions. Thanks.
One of the most important parts to becoming a lead generator is to find buyers. Obviously, you need someone to buy these leads, right? So, a couple of different ways to go about it. So, let me just break it down. So, pull up Notepad real quick. So, you're going to have different types of buyers typically. Of course, the industries are going to change and how things happen, but let me just go through this. So, for me, just to give you an example, I have my direct buyers. So, that's a buyer I work with directly, and maybe that buyer is a business loan lead buyer, and then I also maybe have a credit repair buyer. So these are different types of leads. Then you have maybe a startup lender, they buy leads. And you have affiliate marketing. Of course you have the calls and stuff, but that's okay. That doesn't matter here, depending on the type of lead. At the end of the day, you need to find a buyer. So depending on what you do, you have your direct buyers, and you can look at like affiliate marketing to kind of make money through your um, your age lead. So if you generate a lead today, maybe in 30 days from now or next week or whatever the case may be, you can email them and try to promote other offers to them. So let me give you an example of how I find my buyers, because you really need buyers before you even start this business. So now, quick, easy way, Google. So for me, one of the things I do is merchant cash advance. So what you do is you go to Google, you type in merchant cash advance. So if you are a lender, in a merchant cash advance business, what you're going to do is you're going to put ads up, or you're going to be at the top of Google. So right now, if I type in merchant cash advance lender, it's going to give some explanations of who they are. But right now, you have On Deck, businessloans.com, all these guys right here, Fundera, etc. And you can just go to page 2. You call these guys up. These are all people that are in the industry. This is an easy way to just go about it. Maybe you're looking for auto finance buyers, right? Maybe do auto finance leads. Here, finance your automobile here. Well, State Farm. Lending Tree. Lending Tree is a big. They're big in auto, mortgage, loans. They're big in a lot of spaces, so you can work with them in a lot of different industries. But that's more like an affiliate network type buyer. We'll get to that in a second. But you can go through it. Anybody who's running an ad here, or people that are buying these leads themselves, right? So that's potentially a good buyer. Then you can go down and go here. So maybe you do business loan. I typed in merchant cash advance before, probably really the wrong thing to type in. So business loan is a little better. Yes, SnapCap, Biz to Credit, On Deck again, Cabbage. So these are companies you can contact. Now, this is a very simple and easy way to do it. Another way to do it is conferences. So in my world, you have Affiliate Summit is one conference I just went to. You have LeadsCon. You have I just went to Traffic and Conversion Summit. These are 3 I just went to. So let's just do it.
My name is Ryan Dice. I'm the CEO of DigitalMarketer.com, and I want to personally invite you to
Okay. Oh wait, you know what?
Traffic and Conversion Summit.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going to talk about the War Room, something I just joined. Anyway, so Affiliate Summit. So you go to any conference that you're involved in, your industry is involved in, and you go there, and typically they're going to have a sponsor list. Attending companies. You just got to figure out where to find this stuff. All right, so in this one, it's Affiliate Summit East 2018 attending companies. Well, this is actually the future one in New York. So, but the point is that there's a whole bunch of companies here. Look at all these companies. It's at least, a couple hundred, right? So what you do is, it's the easy way. These are all the companies in the industry. You basically go through these one at a time, and you kind of figure out who's a potential buyer. These are people in my industry. So I could find maybe an affiliate network. I can find a direct buyer potentially, or somebody that I can work with. Here's a company called Max Bounty. I work with them already. I've worked with these guys in the past. There's a bunch of them. So whatever industry you're in, this is a very simple and easy way to go through the whole entire list. These are a CRM company or lead distribution company. This is another company I worked with. Bunch of people in the affiliate marketing world. Another company I worked with. So, you can go through this list. So now, LeadsCon. It's going to be the same thing. You find your. This is the one I just went to. No, this is next year's. So here's their sponsor list. Philosophy, all these companies, right? So this is just the top sponsors. Then you can go through exhibitors, sponsors and exhibitors. Be a longer list. So you can go through and see all of them here. So same thing, right? I would go here, and I've done this before in the past, and I just look to find companies. Here's, again, another one. You do the same thing. You go through, you find all the companies. So that's another way to do it. Now, affiliate marketing, move to affiliate marketing. Well, it's really affiliate networks is really what you probably be searching for. So there's a ton of affiliate networks out there. Depending on what vertical you're in, going to depend on who you're going to want to work with. You got, here's the top affiliate networks. Anything from share or sell, obviously in eBay, Amazon, whatever. But realistically, you can like an Impact Radius has a lot of offers. Flex offers has a lot of offers. Pepper Jam has more premium offers. There's a ton of these companies. You got ClickBank. Um, just type in, let's just try best affiliate networks. There's a lot of different ways to just search for affiliate networks. You just got to research and research and research and just figure out everything that's in your industry. Obviously, I can't go to everything single industry out there, but I've worked with a company called Max Bounty. They have a lot of offers, so you can work with them. Again, CJ.com I work with. All right, they have a ton of offers. Lending Tree I work with directly. They have a lot of offers in this space, home refinance, purchase loans, business loans, etc. They have a lot of stuff going on. So you just have to figure it out. Affiliate marketing is great because a lot of companies have this stuff ready to go. They will talk to you, no problem. They'll test you out, no problem. It's a very easy way to get in with somebody. Then you have, the direct buyers, and then you have direct buyers can be harder to get into, right? You got to sell them on why you're good. If you call up a company, right, go back to Google and just type in, on deck and say, call up on deck. They may or may not buy leads from me. I mean, on deck doesn't buy leads from me, and they don't buy leads from anyone. But I don't, I don't know that if I'm just starting out, right? So you got to contact everybody. You have to know your industry, know who the players are. Go to conferences. Conferences are great. I've met so many companies at conferences. It's great. Put the time and effort to it. Maybe find ones that are local to your house first, just to get your feet wet, right? It's definitely worth the time and effort to put into it because you meet one good contact at a conference. God, I mean, I've done that, and I've had buyers that have paid me millions, literally millions of dollars over the last couple of years because I met them at a conference, and I never would have probably met them before. Or maybe it's a company I didn't even know existed. Of course, referrals. If you're a good lead provider, people like you, you do the right thing by people, they are going to refer you. I get so many referrals, it's ridiculous. People call me all the time. Oh, this guy told me. I don't even know who they're talking about. This guy told me to call you. I don't even know who they're talking about. Yeah, that happens most of the time. So just word gets out there that you're a good guy or you're a good company, and people want to work with you. So the other way that I do it to get leads is AdWords. And I'm not going to go through an AdWords account and show you how to set up ads. I mean, that's a totally different thing. That's pretty easy to do. You literally just go into AdWords, you create your ad, text ad, video ad, whatever. You pick your keywords. For me, it would be like, business loans, merchant cash advance, stuff like that, startup loans. Those are the things that people search for myself. Auto finance, obviously, auto finance. I'm not going to go into a whole entire thing with AdWords, but that's how I do my stuff. And for me, that has been a great way also to get leads because, it's Google and that's where everyone goes. And for this type of lead where you want someone that's searching for something, Google's better than Facebook in that case, where Facebook is more target based. Like, oh, I want to look for someone who's a business owner or someone who may be looking to buy a car or someone looking to buy a house or maybe someone that's a student and they want student loan consolidation or whatever you're trying to do. You can target well in Facebook. That type of stuff's good. Google's still good for some of that stuff, but Google works really well for lead generators and someone looking to buy leads. I throw an ad up on Google, I get leads every day, every single day. What's that lead going to cost you? How much are you going to make off it? How many people are you going to convert? But here's the thing. When you get a good lead provider, a good lead buyer, that could be millions of dollars in revenue. So that lead is so worth it. If it costs you $100, $200, even $500 to get a lead, which it really shouldn't cost you that much money, that lead could be worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. I had that happen literally the other day. I cranked up my ads on AdWords just because I was like, just spend it. I was only spending literally $25 a day. You have to understand, $25 a day. I cranked it up to $100. I understand if you're starting out, that's a lot of money, but not a lot of money at the end of the day because you spend $3,000 a month at $100, And again, one buyer for me could be equal to $100,000. So all of a sudden, one of the largest lenders in the space contacts me, a lender that I've been looking to work with for a long time. I've even tried at contacts there. I couldn't even get in. Like just couldn't get past, the gatekeeper, whatever you want to call them. Couldn't do it. And it's all about timing a lot of times. Like just because someone doesn't work with you today, a buyer will buy from you down the road. You have to understand that. So what happened was they contacted me out of nowhere. Just filled out the form on my site. And I closed them, one call, closed them, bought 100 leads. For me, for that buyer is $40. It's $4,000 right there. And I guarantee you they're going to be buying probably 40 a day, right? So if that's obviously $4,000 a day times, um, 30 days is a ton of money, right? So that's the key. So that one buyer, when you think about it, is going to bring me in over the next year maybe $1 million in revenue because they're a big buyer. So that's the key. That's what you want to do. So um, now going forward, again, you can work with affiliate networks like Lending Tree, Commission Junction, whatever. You can work with, the guys in the, um, the summits and the conferences and whatever. Highly recommend you do that stuff as well. So you got to figure it out. If you promote yourself, however you want to do it. But one other thing I'll mention about the about doing this business when it comes to buyers is you do have to sell them, and you want to do whatever it takes to make it happen. But you don't want to give it away. You don't want people taking advantage of you, and you always go in high with the leads, with your pricing. Going a little higher because everyone's going to want to talk you down. Everyone's going to want a deal. So make them feel like you're getting a deal. That's what you got to do. So, for example, if I realistically at the end of the day, for my leads, I just want $30 for them. But I start everyone out at like 40. I got guys paying 45. I'll take 30, but they pay 45. I even have people paying calls for 50. I'll take less, but hey, it works. But you have to understand is that nobody's going to overpay for a lead. It's just never going to happen. They're never going to overpay for a lead. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're making enough money and the lead is good enough where that buyer is whatever they're paying, it's going to back out. Right? It's going to back out per lead because even though companies will come to you and say, "Hey, let's do a back end deal," I don't really do that stuff. I do it sometimes for my like age leads or leads I don't care about, but my premium leads I don't do that. I never really had to either, but at the same time, I don't want to. So when it comes to you personally doing this, what you want to do is you just want to make sure that you're providing a good lead and the lead's going to back out. So if a guy says to you, "I'll pay $100 for a closed deal," and he closes, 3 out of 100. So you made $300 per 100, which equals $3 a lead, right? 3 times 100 is 300. So whether you make $100 for a closed deal and they close 3 out of 100, or $3 a lead, it's the same thing. For the buyer, it all has to work out, right? He has to be making that profit no matter what. So you got to figure out what's best for you and how you want to sell it. Always try to get paid up front, like literally get paid up front. Try not to do terms. Try not to do 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever, 45 days, whatever people want. Always try to get paid up front. But I know it's hard. It's not going to happen every time. There's going to be companies that will force you to do it. It's the only way they do it. It is what it is. You're going to have to pick and choose your battles. And, if you don't want to work with that company, don't work with them. So that's another thing. You definitely just want to make sure that you get paid up front if you can. If you can't, it is what it is. When you sell age leads, always get paid up front for age leads. Do not sell age leads to brokers. If you sell an age lead to a broker, that person can now take that age lead and just crush it. Sell it 10, 20, 30 times. You don't know who you're dealing with. I never sell to brokers because you just don't know. It's not worth the money because that guy can now take that lead and go sell it 20 times, and then I can't do anything with it anymore. So I sell my age leads for business loans for $1. I can sell that lead myself for 5 or 10 times over the next few months and make $5, $10 a lead. But if I sell it one time for $1 a broker and he sells it 10, 20 times, I can't do anything with it. I only made $1. It's not worth the sale, right? I would rather just go out and sell it 5 or 10 times over the next couple of months myself and call it a day. right? It's the smarter way to do it. So couple of tidbits in there, but at the end of the day, to get new buyers, you can find them on Google, you call them up, you sell them. Listen, go to LinkedIn. Another good way to do it is go to LinkedIn. I know someone that does this. You just search around LinkedIn. That's all you do. You go here, and let's just say you want to, well, for me, like, now you can search for a type of company. You can search for a specific company. So, for example, like On Deck, right? That was the company you saw before in this space. So I go here and I go to On Deck. What's going to happen is on LinkedIn, it's going to tell you all the people that work there. Now, here's the CEO of On Deck. Here's a senior lending advisor on deck. Here's an account manager on deck. There's another great way to find a person at a company to speak to. Because maybe a company's too big, you're like, I don't even know who I was talking to. It's a great way. Now you can try to get in touch with through LinkedIn and pay LinkedIn. I definitely recommend it. I don't have a premium account because I don't really use LinkedIn for this stuff. But I don't really use LinkedIn at all that much, actually. But I know someone who does, and they do a really, really good job. They're on top of it. They post every day. They're always updating stuff, and people are starting to come to them to to like, oh, hey, you do this stuff? Yeah, let me talk to you. So it's a good, if you put the time and effort in LinkedIn, this can definitely yield you great results. You can even run ads on LinkedIn, run ads, paid ads, and target these people if you want to buy leads from you, right? All that stuff. It's easy to do. Go to LinkedIn, start paying them, and you can run your ads. So now, now let's just say you find somebody on here, but you don't want to use LinkedIn to try to reach them. What you do is you guess their email address. I've done that. I've been doing this for over like 12 years. I've been messing around with spamming people. But every single company, especially the larger the company, the better. What they do is they have a formula for their email. So let's just take this. Let's just say it's first name at ondeck.com, or it could be first dot name or F name, right? Every company's going to have some sort of formula on doing it. Now, if you take this and I just, pick, John Smith at On Deck and I send an email, it's going to bounce back real quick if it's a bad email. So you'll know. But if you send it out and nothing ever bounces back, then you know you got the right email. That's an easy way to just spam people. So you can easily do that to find buyers. So you find them on LinkedIn, you figure out who works there, and that's it. Another way, you go to Google, you type in at ondeck.com. Now you can actually put in parentheses, front and back of that, and scroll down. Go like a couple pages deep. All right, so this is the bunch of different ways that you can find buyers. All these ways. This is all I've ever done. I mean, actually, some of these things I'm telling you I've never done before, but they definitely work. So this is how I've done it. It's worked. Clearly, you can find buyers any way you want, but this is a couple of easy and free ways to do it. Of course, you do the paid marketing as well, and that's it. So you just got to put the time and effort into it, and you will find the buyers that you need. In this video, I am going to go over Lead Conduit's website. So let me just first say, Lead Conduit has two versions of their software. They have what they call Classic, which is what I use. I don't use the other software that they have, which is their newer version. So if you're using that, the concept is the same in how you set everything up. It's just different. Now, the good thing about them is they have really good support. They will set up whatever you want. And realistically, that's what I do. I don't really set up campaigns anymore. I just have them do it. I know how to do it. I just don't feel like doing it, just so you understand. So I send their support everything I need, and they take care of it for me. So if this stuff is the most technical part of it, and it is a pain in the butt, I will say that, but you need it, right? You need to be able to distribute leads. You need to be able to, just filter everything and send the right leads to the right buyers. This is a very important part. So you can either just outsource this to somebody who can manage it for you, or you could just pay the support team to take care of everything for you. Because once you set it up once, it's all done. You don't really need to do anything after it's set up. So it's really like a set it and forget it. And managing everything is a lot easier than actually going into the nitty gritty here and creating all the accounts and campaigns and whatever. So, but either way, I'm going to go through this But again, this is the classic side. So when you log into your account, to set what you want to do is you're going to have a recipient, right? That's somebody who's getting the leads. You're going to have your website where the leads are coming from, and you're going to create a campaign so everything happens in that campaign, right? Wherever the leads you want them to go to. You have to create the campaign to do that. So let's just say this is the first time you're logging in, which I'm assuming it is, and you're going to have to create a recipient first. So that means you log in as a recipient button. You click it. You do non-account recipients. You're going to come to this page, and it's going to say add a recipient. So you're going to click it. Here, you're really just going to type in the company's name. So let's just call it ABC Corp, right? This is whoever you're selling leads to or whoever is taking the leads from you. So you're going to click add recipient. Then that's going to go through. There's nothing else to do there. So the next thing you're going to do is go to campaigns. So here, you're going to click on campaign and you're going to do new campaign. That's going to bring it here. And you're going to call the campaign whatever you want. So let's just say, now there's a couple different ways to create campaigns because you're going to have to create one campaign where all your leads are coming into. It's like your inbound campaign, right? All the leads are going to come into the campaign. So let's just call it inbound just for fun. So that means that this one is all the leads are going to come into this campaign, and then inside this campaign, you're going to create destinations. So I'll get to that in a second. So we're going to call this one inbound. The recipient of this is either going to be you, or it's going to be one of your buyers. So let me try to break this down for you to make it simple. Let me pull up Notepad. All right. So just so you don't get confused. So what's going to happen is there's a couple different ways to do this. So you have a website, right? The website is where you generate the lead. After you generate the lead, you're going to take that lead from Gravity Forms after they fill out the form, and you're going to send it to Lead Conduit. When you send that lead to Lead Conduit, there's a couple different ways you can do this. One way is you're going to create a campaign like we're doing now, and let's just say it's ABC Corp, which is your buyer. That means the lead's going to go into ABC Corp, which is your campaign, right? We're going to call it, this is a campaign. We're going to call it ABC Corp, and then the lead is going to come into Lead Conduit, right? Come into Lead Conduit and go right out to ABC Corp, meaning that ABC Corp is the only buyer in this campaign. So you create a campaign just for ABC Corp. That's it. The other option, this is how I run things. I create a campaign, and I just call it, let's just say, my inbound campaign. So that means all my leads go into it. Then inside that campaign, I have buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer 3, and so on, right? Could be 10 buyers, could be 20, could be 100, but let's just say there's only 3. So now what happens is when a lead goes into that campaign, right? And then it's going to go to buyer 1 and it's going to say, what's the filter for this lead? Because each lead is going to have a specific filter. So I'm going to use business loans just to make it simple. So let's just say buyer 1 has a filter that the lead has to do at least $10,000 a month in revenue, right? Buyer 2 says, you know what, this one can do $5,000 to $10,000 per month in revenue. Buyer 3, let's just say they could be a startup, and that's all they care about. They just want a startup lead. Let's just pretend. Okay, so now you have buyer 1 has a filter. That means the lead has to do $10,000 a month in revenue. You filter that one out. And then if it doesn't fit $10,000, it's go to the next buyer. And then if it says, oh, is this between $5,000 and $10,000 a month in revenue? And then the third buyer, if it says no, then it goes to the third buyer, and it's just a startup. So it pretty much means that buyer 3 gets all the leads that the other 2 don't get, right? That's just a simple way, simple concept for me to explain it to you. So now, depending on how you do it, it's depending on how you set up. So let's just go through this. So now, let's just pretend that this is your inbound campaign. Now, if if you're not having a specific buyer like that recipient, right? ABC Corp was a recipient. If they're going to get this lead, so you would choose them from the recipient list, and you just click that button, and the list will be there, and you choose ABC Corp. And then you say, all right, well, what fields they want? So let's just pretend it's first name, last name, email, and cell phone. Now, they're just making your life easy by giving you these fields. You can always add more fields. You can add as many fields as you want, and you can call them whatever you want. They're just giving you the popular ones. But let's just pretend it's first name, last name, email, and cell phone. So that's pretty much it. You create the campaign. So now that it's created, this is what it looks like. What you want to do is you can go in here and edit the campaign info and call, just you can put a tagline, a description. This is all for your information, just so you understand. You don't really need to do anything here, just so you understand. This is all for your personal information. No one else is going to see this. So you don't really have to edit unless you want to and, know what it is. So the fields are the next thing you need to worry about. So first name, last name, email, phone. And again, if you want to add fields, just add the field here. You can call the field whatever you want. If you want to put, address, maybe you have a credit score, maybe it's a loan value. If it's mortgages, there's a bunch of stuff for mortgages, student loan consolidation, whatever your field is, this is where you put it. You can choose your field type, whatever this is here. And then typically most stuff is going to be text, but if it's specific to city, date, whatever, you can just choose whatever you want. All you need to do is parameter name. This other stuff you don't need to worry about. So you choose your parameter name. Let's just say again, let's see what I have here. Let's see a credit. Okay. Let's say, credit, let's just say credit. So this would be like their credit score. You just hit save. So that's just how you create a new field, and it will just be here. So how each one, this is text, phone, email, because these are all the fields that they had. So now we're going to go back. So now we're here. So the other things, acceptance criteria. You could say edit acceptance criteria. I never really mess with this stuff. What this means, well, I just have this on email. Let me just put it that way. So the only thing I care about, acceptance criteria means that the validation and acceptance criteria set here controls which leads are accepted or rejected in this campaign. So if you want to basically be able to accept or reject a lead based on a certain field, that's what you put the field in. So for example, I just use email. And what that means is when someone submits an email address, I can basically say, hey, okay, if it's a duplicate email, reject it. I don't even want the email in here. I don't even want the lead in here if it's the same email. You can do it with phone number. You really don't want to do that with first name and last name because plenty of people have the same name, right? The only other one that you really care about is a phone number. But I don't even do that. I just use email for my stuff. It makes it simple enough. So, and I've never had an issue. So, but totally up to you. But so if it was up to me, I would just only check email off and just call it a day. And what that's going to do is then you'll be able to reject leads if it's a duplicate email or whatever the case may be. So time of day is your next one. I'm sorry, your duplicate checking. So this is where we just talked about. So what you do is it says, your campaign, you can reject duplicate leads. So you click here, reject duplicate leads. You can go back a certain amount of days. If you say, I want to reject leads on 30 days only, the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you want. But if you don't do anything, it'll just check all of them. And then you make sure email is checked, which it's not going to let you not check email. So you do that, make sure these two things are clicked. And now what that means is that if it's the same email twice, it'll reject it. All right, the next step is accepting leads. So this is where you can say, you got to check this box, and then you got to choose a time. So let's just say you only want leads from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now this is all Central Standard Time, just so you know. So Central Standard Time. So 9 to 5, you hit save. And now only leads are coming 9 to 5. Of course, you could choose whatever times you want. Or you uncheck this, and it does, and then it'll do leads 24 hours a day. The next step would be add a custom script. I've never done this I wouldn't even bother touching this. You don't need to worry about that. Now, you want to add sources for the campaign. Now, this kind of goes down to the sites. So, let me go to sites real quick. So, if you want to add a source, you click on sites, sources and sites. Now, this is where now you go to add a site. So now you want to, so we just created so inbound, so that's the name of the campaign we just created, right? And you're going to create a site name. So let's just say it's just abc.com, right? That's the name of the site. Now this is the name of the site where the leads are coming from. So wherever you have your form, whatever that domain is, that's what you put here. This is just, again, a reference. If you put ABC, it's fine. This thing has no idea whether it's .com or not .com. This is just for your own reference, so you know where the leads are coming from. So you could put abc.com, you could put ABC if your site's name is, Amco Corporation, right? Whatever you want to put, you just put there. But that's just for the site name. So now what you're going to do is, let me just add the source here so that we can go back to, so that's going to go through. I'm going to refresh this page. So the new stuff is here. And so you see how lead sources now appears as abc.com. So you can actually view and manage your sources. So if you want to edit the campaign access, this is the only site that can actually send leads to this campaign. And there's an ID here. In my other video where I go over WordPress and how to do this in WordPress, this is your ID for the site. So we go back. So now here, under purchase from sources, so this is where you decide this unlimited purchase from sources, unlimited number of leads. This is where you decide how many leads they can get. So you click on that, and you can click on volume caps and click on unlimited. Well, right now it says unlimited because that's the way it's set. So this is where you can set the volume caps. Do a daily cap. You can say, I only want them to get 10 per day, or each day of the week. Maybe they don't want leads on the weekend. 0 on Sunday, 10 on Monday, 10 the rest of the week, 0 on Saturday. You could do that. You could do a monthly cap. Maybe they only want 1,000 a month. An overall cap, maybe it's only 2,000 leads total. So 2,000 leads total, 1,000 a month, they want 10 a day, right? Whatever it is, you could do that. Or you uncheck everything and they just get unlimited 24/7. So this is obviously self-explanatory. You can figure out what you need for your specific buyer there. So the next thing is, you have your lead source set up. That's done. Your creative materials. Don't even worry about this. Don't even worry about that. Data retention. Don't worry about that. And then your lead delivery destination. So add destinations. So now this is the part where you decide where the leads go to. So now, like I was saying before, if you create a campaign and you just want to go to ABC Corp and that's it, then a lead is going to come into Lead Conduit and go right out to ABC Corp. So let's do that for a second. Add a destination. Now you can do all this fun stuff here. Now this is where it gets really tricky. I'm just going to do an email one for now. And we'll do email first. So add new destination. So there's an email delivery. That means that you want to make sure your destination is enabled so it works. And then you can call it whatever you want. This is your name. You want to call it email delivery, call it email delivery. You call it ABC Corp, email delivery, whatever you want here. This is the subject line of the email that the person's going to receive, so you can make this whatever you want. If you leave this blank, they're just going to receive all the fields from the lead, so you can completely leave it blank, totally cool. That means that they're just going to receive everything. And then the email address here. This is where you put the email address of the person that's getting the leads. So let's just pretend it's abc@abccorp.com. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's just pretend it's ABC Corp. So ABC Corp's your buyer, and that's your email address. You're going to hit save. See, it says enabled, and now this person's going to get that email. Now, if you want to, you can duplicate this, right? Copy this delivery destination. So let's copy it for a second. You turn this back on. You name it whatever you want. Let's put your email. So your email at gmail.com, let's just say. Now you're going to get this email. So this is the way I like to do it. They get the email, but you want to make sure like you know what's going on, right? So I'm going to create this where now they get their email, and then the second email I get. So now I can make this whatever I want. You can call it, ABC Corp lead. So I know there's an email to me, right, or to yourself, and I'm going to make the subject line something I'll remember so I know what it is. So I call it, ABC Corp lead. One other thing I'll mention, actually I'll mention it in a second. Okay, so now I got 2 email deliveries, one to them, one to me. Now what you can do is you go to this one. You go back to the first one. You can edit it again. You go to the bottom. See where it says on delivery success, continue next destination? That means if the email was a success, that means it's going to go to the next destination in that list that you just saw. So you could do not continue. That means if it is a success, don't send it to the next one. But obviously in this case, we want to make sure it goes to the next destination. On delivery failure, now if it's an email, it'll never fail. The system will never fail. It just sent out the email. It doesn't really know what happened on the other end. So when it's email, as long as lead comes through, then you know it went. So when it comes to email delivery, this is the only thing that you can do. I mean, you can choose anything in here in the top one for success. So the other thing you can do is delay a delivery if you wanted to. You can delay it as up to a random amount of time, 5 days, 4 days, whatever you want. So we're not going to worry about that though. So now I'm going to save this. So now what's going to happen is email delivery, continue on success, continue on failure, because it's an email, so it has to. So the only thing you care about is that. So just so you understand how that works. And the other thing is you can do a filter. So you click that little button there, the gray one, set up filtering. In here, you're going to click the plus sign, and this creates your filter. Now, once you're done here, you click the plus sign here. Now you're working on this one. Now you're going to hit the plus sign on the bottom. And you're going to choose a field. Let's just say, credit. So there, we don't have a lot going on here, so there's really not much you can do. But let me just go through the settings so you at least understand it. So for example, one of the things that I do is like gross monthly sales because I sell business loan leads. So on my stuff, one of the biggest filters I have is how much revenue a company does. So in that case, I would choose a condition. So in here, let's just pretend it's credit. Actually, another filter I do is credit. So credit score. So let's just say it's credit, meaning credit score. Your condition is whatever you want. Just pause the video. You can see everything here. So I do is equal to. And you put the value. Your value here, let's just call it, 500. So that's a 500 credit score. Now this value is actually the value from the form in Gravity Forms. That's this value. So when you pull up Gravity Forms and you're creating your fields, there's a value in there. So in the other video, when you create Gravity Forms, remember this, that when you create a value in Gravity Forms, that value is this number right here, whatever that is. It could be credit score, it could be gross monthly sales, it could be how much money someone makes, it could be anything, right? But just make sure that you understand that the value in that for the filtering is the same value in Gravity Forms. So when it sends the information over, you got to make sure the stuff matches up. Okay, so credit is this. Now you could do this 100 times, right? If you have credit, 500, 600, 700, whatever you want. And then you just do that. Now, there's 2 things you want to do. This doesn't really matter, whether you do a success, error, or whatever. So I actually have mine on failure for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. I think it's just failure or error is fine, but I just always have mine on failure for whatever reason. So that means that blocked delivery is called a failure. So that means if this is blocked, right? So that means that it comes through and somebody has, an 800 credit score. That means it's not going to work because in this case, it has to be a 500, 600, 700. So that means, let's just say it's a blocked delivery. So that means they have an 800 credit score, so it's not going to pass the filter. That means it's going to call it a failure in the system. That means it's going to be red. instead of, not red, instead of being like black. So it's going to be red. You're going to know instantly if that lead failed. The other two conditions you have to determine. Now this is, you have to figure out what this works for you. So you're either going to do any condition below is met or all conditions below met. So if it's any condition below is met, that means that it can be either a 5, 6, or 7. Or all conditions below are met, meaning it has to be a 5, 100, 600, and a 700, which in this case would never make sense. So, but you can do multiple things. You don't have to do credit. So let's just say, for example, you can say, all right, the credit has to be 500. The email has to be equal to, someone's email, and then first name or last name has to be equal to Jones, right? So clearly this doesn't make any sense. It's never going to happen, but you understand that when you do all conditions below met, that means every single thing here has to be met for this to go through. So typically I don't do that, and I do any condition below is met for this. And then on the bottom here is the other thing you have to worry about is block unless at least one rule passes. Now, one rule it passes means the top thing, not this is conditions. On top is a rule, so you can set up another rule. All right, now let me do that, and let's just pretend. Cell phone, let's just say begins with. Cell phone begins with, an area code. Let's just call an area code, 310. So that means you can say, okay, the cell phone has to begin with a 310 area code. So, and they must have, 500, 600, or 700 credit score. Right, I'll put this back to credit. So, right? So now what you're saying is, on the bottom, block unless at least one rule passes. That means you can say one rule pass. That means it's either they have a 310 area code or they have a 500, 600, 700 credit score. Or you change this to block unless all rules pass. That means they have to have a 310 area code and the credit score has to be 567. Then they have two other options. Never block no matter what, or always block. So never block no matter what makes no sense. You might as well just not set up a filter. And then always block no matter what, you might, that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, you have to have a very specific case to do that. So for me, it's either one of these two. Either the one rule passes or all rule pass. And then after that, you hit save filter. Actually, you have to hit start filtering too. So start filtering and save filter. Hit the X when you're done. And there you go. See right here, it says 2 filter rules. So now it's in there. So now this will only get emailed if those 2 filters hit. So that's how you do email delivery. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another delivery. Another delivery, I've never used QuickBase before, and I've never used Trusted Form. So I'm not even going to touch those two. I've done custom HTTP posts, but I've only done it where I paid them to do it for me. The only one that I've done myself is HTTP, email, and campaign. So let me go over campaign for a second. A campaign is going to be when you send a lead from one campaign inside Lead Conduit to another campaign inside Lead Conduit. So that's where this comes into play. Let me go back to my notepad. So this is this part now. So this part's done, right? A lead came in and went out. This part is campaign, lead came in, and you have different buyers. So the best way to do this, the best way, and I've tried multiple ways, but this is the best way to do it. You create a campaign for each buyer. I mean, each buyer, now you go in here and you create a separate campaign for each one. That means you go to campaigns, new campaign, and you call buyer 1. Campaign, new campaign, buyer 2, buyer 3, and you set it all up. Now you can copy a campaign. So that means in your campaign list, there is going to be a button that allows you to copy a campaign. So if you already have a campaign done, you already did all the work, and you kind of want to do it all over again, you click on the campaign. So here's my campaigns. And up top right here, it says copy campaign. You just do that. And then you basically click here, and you're going to select who you want the recipient to be for the new campaign. So you have to set the recipient first before you do that. So now what's going to happen is we're going to go back to the email delivery. So now this is the email delivery from one campaign to another. So that means you have to go set up your recipient, for the campaign buyer one recipient, set up campaign for buyer one, and now you're going to set in that campaign, you're going to send it out to that person, meaning in that side that campaign, you're going to say, all right, send an email to buyer one. Another campaign, buyer two, send an email to buyer two. That means you're going to click your campaign list here. All your campaigns are going to appear, and you're going to choose the one you want. So let's just say real quick, I just choose this one. And then it's going to ask you, what information do you want to send over? So you can check the boxes. Now I have all the stuff set up already, right? But it's not all going to match up because I don't have all the right fields and stuff. You have to create the fields for each campaign that you want to send from one campaign to another. So if you have company name and one, can't see how I do this? So this means that the campaign that we're in right now, which was ABC Corp that we set up first, only had what? First name, last name, email, and credit, right? That was the only ones it had. So I could technically put this here because that makes sense, credit score. But it doesn't have time and business, loan amount, postal code, company industry. It doesn't have this stuff. So I can't even put it in here. I can't move the data over. So like I would have to uncheck company name because company name doesn't exist. I would have to uncheck phone and gross monthly sales. So you only want to check off the fields that you want to move from one campaign to the other. So that's what you're doing. You're taking the lead data, and you're sending it from one campaign to the other inside lead conduit. That's all you're doing. So you go from one campaign, the inbound campaign, to buyer one campaign. And that's all you're doing. So you got to go through the same process and create the campaign for buyer one and move the information from one campaign to the other. And then in the buyer one campaign, you're going to set up a lead destination, delivery destination, and you're going to send that that lead out via email or however that buyer wants to lead. So that's the way that works. The other way to do a destination is HTTP posts. This would be really, really difficult to do in a training video because there's literally 100 different ways to do this. The reason why is if whoever you're sending leads to, let's just say someone uses like a Salesforce or a Zoho or a Lead Conduit or any other company that does lead distribution. You have Bobberdo and Cake. There's so many companies out there that do this stuff now. Every single company is going to be different in how you do this. But the way that it works is those companies send you posting instructions. So that means they're going to send you instructions on how to send them a lead. I got to tell you, man, it sucks. So I hate doing this stuff. But the reason why I'm going through this is just so you have a basic understanding of how this whole entire thing works. The best thing I could tell anybody, if you're technical, you'll figure it out. All right, you go through it once and you go through the process and you'll figure it out. If you're not technical, you really wouldn't even bother trying to figure it out. Just pay Lead Conduit to set it up for you. You take the posting instructions. You got to create the campaign and kind of set it up. And just don't do the delivery, the delivery destination. You can leave that part empty. But just create the campaign, create the buyer, all this stuff. And then just send them a support email and say, hey, can you please set this up? Here's the posting instructions. Set it up in this campaign. They'll do it for you done within a couple of hours or whatever, a day. It'll all be done and you'll be good to go. That's what I recommend for that. Because even if I went through this and I try to explain it to you, there's literally 100 different ways to do it. So I couldn't even do it all even if I wanted to. But so here's one from Salesforce, which is a popular company. This is what their URL looks like. So they're going to send you a URL to send the leads to. Then they're going to send you your username, password, all this crazy stuff that goes in here. And you have to line it all up and whatever. It's a complete mess. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out, and I still hate doing it to this day. So this is basically, set up HTTP posting instructions. And again, there's 100 different ways to do it. There's no one way. Every company is going to be different. The only thing is you have to line up all of the different, fields. So for example, you have first name, got to go to first name. Last name's got to go to last name. Email's got to go to email. So that means if their field is different from yours, let's just say their field is credit score instead of credit, you have to put in their field. So you're basically taking your data and you're going to send it to their data, but you're telling the system, my first name equals their, maybe they call it first or F name, right? A lot of people do that. So F name, right? So it just, you got to line everything up. But again, I would just have Lead Conduit do it for you at least once. And then after it's done once, then you kind of get an understanding of how it's all set up. And if you're a technical person, you'll be able to figure it out. If you're not technical, then I wouldn't even bother with this. So that's how you do that. Or it's not how you do that. That's how I would just recommend going down the road. And so you don't have to worry about it. So add new destination. So we went over HTTP, which is going to be the most common one, email and campaign. So email is going to be good if someone just wants an email, and then campaign is internal. So that's pretty much, and I know this is a long video, but that's pretty much how you kind of get the basics for Lead Conduit. Every company is going to be different. You can use any company out there, and all their support will help you. You know, I feel bad because I would love to give you more information, give you step-by-step instructions on really how to set all this up. But because there's literally 100 different ways to do it, set up posting instructions, and it's 100 different companies to use, I would have to go sign up for every single company and learn every single company and make a video for every single company. It's just impossible to do. But, of course, here to help, here to point you in the right direction, whatever we can do. But if you do use Lead Conduit, I'll be able to help you out the most. But if you don't, that's totally fine. You know, if you don't like how much they charge, whatever, there's plenty of companies out there. But the concept is going to be the same. It doesn't matter which company you use, and that's that. So hopefully, you get this going. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I am going to show you how to set up your API. Now, what does that mean? When you generate a lead on your website, you want to take that lead and send it to your buyer. Now, the way I do it, I use a company called leadconduit.com, or their other name is Active Prospect. So I'll just pull up their site real quick. So this is their homepage. You can check it out. You know, if you want to, this is who I use, so this is the only company I can show you how to set it up with. There's other companies out there. The concept is the same. It doesn't really matter who you use. All companies have support, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with whatever questions you have, or if you want to get set up, you can probably pay them. Like I have paid this company to set up some campaigns for me because I just didn't want to do it. But I always believe that you should at least know how to do it. And then once you know how to do it, you can do it yourself, or of course pay someone else to do the actual work. But it is good to understand it and know what to do. So in case there's ever an emergency or something crazy happens, you're not relying on someone else. You can jump in and take care of it yourself. That's just me. That's how I am. I guess you can say I'm a control freak, but I want to know how to control my company every step of the way, just so I don't ever have to rely on anybody else. That's how I am. So, all right. So I use WordPress. If you don't use WordPress, I'm sure the concept is the same. Again, this is just how I set everything up. It works great. A lot of people say, oh, ClickFunnels and lead pages, and that's fine. They're great for landing pages. But if you want true customization, where you can do pretty much anything you want on your site, because you have to drive the traffic to your own site. You have to convert the traffic. There's a lot of cool things out there you can do with your website. And WordPress really just works great in my eyes because complete control, it's user-friendly. There's plenty of negative things about it, of course, but you can say that about anything. But in terms of customization, when you're a lead generator, you want to be able to do what you want when you want. When you start using these other softwares that are enclosed and you really can't bring outside tools into them or third-party software, you kind of might get to a point where you're stuck and it's something you really want to do or create and you just can't do it. So this is what I do, and if you can do it this way, then this is just going to make your life a lot easier. So when you're logged into WordPress, here's your dashboard. The way that it works is this. You're going to want to set up your form. All right, now I'm assuming if you already went through the steps, you already have this website set up and you already have a form somehow before you even get to this point. But if you go to your forms, which is going to be, click on forms here, you're going to have, you have a lot of forms as you can see. So let's just take this one form. At the top here, it says ID 9. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your dashboard, you're going to go to appearances, and you're going to go down to editor. Once you click on editor, all the way on the right side, under your theme, you're going to see functions.php. You're going to click on that. If it's the first time using this page, it might give you a warning saying, are you sure you want to edit this page or whatever. All right, so you see tops is PHP. See all this stuff here? This is all the WordPress stuff. Everything from here up. So I'm assuming that your page should look something like this. I'm assuming. I've never looked at every single WordPress functions page out there, but what you want to do is edit everything below this line, below this. So now this right here is a code that I use to send my stuff to Lead Conduit. So now if I now I'll provide this code separately. I'll provide it in like a notepad file so you can download it and use it. But let me just go through this code. There's not really much to it, but let me just explain. So you see the add action, G form after submission. The number 9 is the ID of your form. So I'm going to go back here, right? Your form ID 9. That's that number, whatever your form is. This posted third party, this number 4 here, these two numbers need to be the same. That 4 and this 4 need to be the same number. It could be a 3, 2, 1, 15, 75,000, whatever you want, but it needs to be the same. The only reason why that number really matters is if you have multiple form codes on this page. So if I scroll down, you see another code right here. This is form 19, and this is the numbers 15 and 15. If this is 15 and this is 15, it's not going to work. But most likely in your case you only have one form, but just in case down the road you ever add one, just remember that because it will not work. This 10 and 2 just leave the same. I don't really know what they mean. That's just what they are. So now all this stuff, this line right here, what you need to change here, anything I don't talk about stays the same, just so you understand. Everything I don't even bring up stays exactly the same. So this whole code right here comes from Lead Conduit. Now you're going to have a campaign ID right here. That's your campaign ID. When you create your campaign in Lead Conduit, that's the number that you take from Lead Conduit. When you're in your account ID, this is your account with Lead Conduit, right? Everything after the equals and before the ampersand sign, that's going to be on each one. And then site ID is going to be the site, whatever site you set up in Lead Conduit. So those are the 3 pieces of code or 3 numbers you're going to get from Lead Conduit. And I'll go into that in a second. The rest of this here is the actual fields that are in your form. Now, if you only have 2 fields like name and email, that's fine. If you have first name, last name, email, phone, whatever, then whatever you have, you have. So now what's going to happen is this first one, IP address, you can leave this exactly the same. This should, I'm sorry. The part that you're going to change is going to be IP address, because whatever you call IP address. So you have to name this inside Lead Conduit. First name is going to come from your form. So if I go back to my form here and I click on this, see it says ID 1 at the top, field ID 1. This one is field ID 2. This one field ID 12. You're going to have to match those up. So now, first name is field ID 4. Last name is 11. Email 22. Phone 9. Company name 7, right? Go down the list. So now if I go here, see first name 4 and last name 11. If I go down, first name 4, last name 11. Okay, it's just a number. So you put that number there and whatever it is. Now this number needs to equal what's in the form. This name, first name, has to now equal on the Lead Conduit side. All right, so that's where it knows on the other side where first name matches up. So when this code is talking to the other code on Lead Conduit, it's saying field ID 4 equals first name. And on a Lead Conduit side, it says, okay, first name equals Joe, right? Whatever the actual value is. And then it takes Joe and it sends it over to your buyer. So that's pretty much the way it works in very, very layman's terms. So this is how you have it set up. Now, the IP address, not everyone really cares about the IP address, but you can leave this exactly the same. And then this one, these fields, first name, last name, email, phone, company, whatever you want, that you can change to whatever you want it to be. All right? Whatever that is. And that's it. And then you go all the way down to this last bracket here. This is the code. But I'll put this in a notepad file so you can download it. So this is how you set it up on WordPress. This is it. This is all you have to do. Now, like I said, you have your forms, you create your forms. One thing I'll just throw in there, when you do an email field, see I had 2 emails because I actually screwed up the first time because I didn't know. Everything I do, I learned the first time. I have no one to teach me anything. So, but you see how this says email and email? So what's happening is, this one is administrative. So this one's actually hidden. This one is a live one. So this is the one I'm using. When you put an email field in your form in Gravity Forms, you want to make sure on the right side that you actually choose the email field. Don't choose single line text and just call it email. That's what I did. You want to use advanced fields, email, and use that one. 2 reasons. Number one, when someone inputs their information on a phone, it's going to be a better experience. Like it's going to bring up the keyboard with the @ symbol and stuff like that. So it makes it easier for them to put in their email instead of having to switch, keyboard, pages on their phone and go to different pages and find the @ symbol, if you know what I mean. So it just makes it easier. Just trust me on that one. The other thing is that if you ever want to send your information to like an Aweber or a constant contact from Gravity Forms, so when someone fills out your form on Gravity Forms on WordPress on your website and you want to send information to like an email marketing software like Aweber, you want to make sure that you use the email field for that because or else Aweber or Constant Contact, whoever, will not see it. It's a pain in the butt. I did it on like 15 websites and I did it wrong and then I go back and redo it all again. So just so you understand, that's a little tidbit there. The rest of the stuff you can have whatever fields you want. Doesn't really matter. In another video I go over actually how to use all this stuff with Gravity Forms, but I'll throw that in there again for you. So that's it. That's really all you have to do. These names mean nothing, right? To you, to the computer, to Gravity Forms, to Lead Conduit. This name could say, Chesapeake Bay. It doesn't matter, right? It's just whatever you tell it to be. It's going to be ID 4, field 4, and that's the value it's going to push. As long as this name is the same in WordPress, in the functions.php page, and it's the same on Lead Conduit side, that's all it needs. It needs to be the exact same name. Let's talk about selling phone calls. So how do you sell a phone call? So I use a company called Call8. Again, plenty of companies to use out there. If you use another system, obviously I can't help you. This is the system I've been using for years, and it works great. One thing you don't want to do is use a calling platform or a calling system that goes down. I've never had a problem with this system going down, never had an issue, so I can't complain about it. Now, what does this mean? That means that somebody goes to my landing page and there's a phone number on it. They dial that phone number, and that phone number is going to go to my buyer. Now, if you have one buyer, it's great. Now you don't have to worry about it. If you have multiple buyers, but you need to filter the phone call, then you need to add in another system. All right, so I use Call8 and a different company to filter my calls. Now, again, there are companies that do like a 2-in-1 and they have multiple services all in one package, and they're out there, and you can certainly use those companies. It's probably cheaper at the end of the day, but I've been one of those people that once I find a system that works, even if I'm saving a couple bucks, I'm just at a point where I just don't want to change it all up and go and learn a system and do all that stuff, but that's just me. So what obviously it's totally up to you on how you want to run your business, but this is just the way I do it. So if you have one buyer, Call8's great. If you have multiple buyer call 8, still great. You just have to add another system, but I'll show you that in a different video. So what happens now? You get a phone call and you want to send that off to another phone number. Now, why do you use call 8? You use call 8 to forward phone calls because you want to put your phone number on your website, and then you can control the phone calls. You don't put your client's phone number on the website. But you also want to record the phone calls and or just monitor phone calls. So for example, I like recording the phone calls just in case something crazy happens. I can go back, listen in, and see what's going on. Or if you don't want to record the phone calls, you at least know how long the calls are, because typically when you sell a call, you base it on a time frame, like 90 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever the case may be, whatever decision you make with your buyer. You can, through the call 8 system, route by state. You really don't. Oh God, it's really a pain in the butt. I don't even recommend it. But if you need to, I'll go over that real quick too. But they have a lot of different. This is a good platform to use. But again, if you need to be in a position where you need to like ask questions like I do, for example, buyer calls in, and I route the call based on revenue. So if that lead calls in and they do over $10,000 a month in revenue, it goes to one buyer. If they do under $10,000 a month in revenue, they go to another buyer. If they're a startup, they go another buyer. If they want credit repair, they go a different buyer, right? So you can't do that in call 8. It's limited to that extent, but it does have a lot of cool stuff. So when you first get your account, first thing you do is add a phone number. You go to numbers, go add number. Here, you have all different options. You want 800, 888, 877, whatever you want. You want all price points, right? I just go with the cheapest. It doesn't, you don't need to get fancy. If you want to get fancy, go ahead and get fancy, but I just use the cheapest numbers possible. There's usually $5 numbers here somewhere. Let's just see. If I do this, what happens? Right, so there's a bunch of $5 numbers. So you can just choose this. I think this is the cheapest you're going to get. Well, let's just see what happens if it gets cheaper. You can get cheaper. Look at that. You have a $2 number. So now let's just choose a $2 number, see what happens. So it's going to be $2 setup and $2 a month. It's an 844 number. If you don't really care, then just go with the cheaper number, right? So you're going to do this. You're going to hit add to account. And you're going to buy it. So you go through the buying process. What's going to happen is go back to hitting numbers, and all your numbers are going to be here. So your number is going to appear here. Now what you want to do, it's a couple of things you could do. You can record it. You can forward it, right? You can manage it in terms of knowing what's going on. You can do a state filter. So let's just go through. Now I'm going to hide all my numbers just because you never know who's watching these videos and whoever gets a hold of them, and they have my phone numbers out there. I don't need people running a dialer to all my numbers and screwing up my stuff. So I usually hide my information with my buyers and stuff, because you just never know whoever gets a hold of these videos. I've had people steal my stuff before, so just so you understand, that's why I hide my stuff. And I recommend that to you too. Never give out a live website. If you're running paid traffic to a website, never give that out to anybody. And I don't even give it out to my buyers. I set up a demo site that's not in use, and I say, this is what it looks like. But you don't need to know what my live site is, because every time you do, people love to just go fill out the form. Like, it's fun. And then what does it do? It starts sending bad leads to your buyers. So you really don't want to do that. I've had issues where people form stuff you, meaning they just send crap data into your forms. Like, you want to be careful with who you give your information out to. So you're going to click on this edit button all the way on the right to your number. And what you're going to do is, right here it says ring to number. You're going to put your phone number there, whatever it is. So that's going to be, let's just say, your buyer's phone number. And you're going to put that in there. And that phone number, when someone calls your phone number, it's going to automatically ring to your buyer. So you can do ring to number, voicemail, VoIP termination. It's going to be ring to number. If it's in the U.S., you choose one, choose the phone number, and then turn the everything off. So voicemail, fax off, and that's it. You save it, and you can label it to whatever name you want. So that's how you forward the phone number. So now when someone calls it automatically gets transferred over, and you're good to go. All right, so outside of that, the next thing you want to do is call recording. So I am going to go to call recording and settings. Call recording settings, again, you're going to click on all the way on the right side, the edit button, and it's going to ask you, do you want call recording? Yes or no, or on and off. You hit on. Do you want an email? You can actually have this email to you. So you want an email to you, just hit yes and put your email address in. Then do you want a personalized greeting? You typically don't want one because your buyer's probably going to have something already set up. So you just do a no greeting. And then do you want automatic storage options? I just have it off. It's totally up to you if you want to store it. They're going to save your recordings for 30 days, just so you know. So after 30 days, everything disappears. All right, so that's how you do your call recording. Now, that's pretty much it. I mean, for 99% of my calls, that's all I needed. I've never needed to do much more than that. You just name everything, you're good to go. There's really not, it's pretty simple setup, as you can see. I mean, it doesn't really take much to figure this stuff out. But there are a lot of other options if you have other things that you want to do here, but you can go through and check all this stuff up. But I gotta be honest with you, you don't really need more than that. And this is how I sell calls. So you definitely want to have your stuff on your website, a click to call, especially because so much traffic's mobile. So you set up your form, or I'm sorry, you set up the code on your website that way. So it's a click to call link. So they're on your website, they see a phone number, and they just hit the button instead of having to long press it, copy it, go to their phone, paste it in, and then call the number. Just click the call. So and then everything routes through here. Call8 is not the cheapest company out there, but they definitely are the best. Again, there's so much other stuff you can do here. Call management, all these features, enhanced features. You can do a hunt group. There's so much stuff that you can do. You can do, step call blocking, forward to closest location. I mean, payphone blocking, all this stuff. Maximum call length. You can say, listen, if this call lasts 20 minutes, shut it off. If you want to do that. But I'll show you one other thing actually. In the call recording, so let's view some calls. So you can see a bunch of calls came in today. And if I just hit, you could just click on this little sound thing, the speaker. And
Thank you.
you can just listen to the recording. You can click here to download the recording if you want, and you're good to go. Right, so you download your recordings, you can email them, you can do whatever you want. You can add a note if you want to, say good lead, bad lead, whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want here. And you can basically listen to the calls and make sure everything's good, bad. If you're, screening or you're testing someone, on the other end, you want to test, make sure these guys are doing something right. You just have a lot of options here to do whatever you want with these calls. So it's good stuff. And what I'll do is I'll make another video on the IVR stuff, where the IVR is where somebody calls in and there's a question. It's do you they just ask me questions like press 1 for yes, 2 for no, whatever your question is, like, are you interested in auto loan? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, and then you can go through and send different calls to different buyers. To forward calls via a state, you go to numbers and do schedule forwarding. And then in here, you're going to hit add rule. Now, you could do an area or a number. So you could say an area, it could be, Alabama, any state you want. Or you can do a number, and it could be a very specific phone number. So let's just say an area, you pick Alabama, and then you say, okay, I want this. If someone calls from Alabama, I want them to go this specific phone number. You can say send to voicemail after if you want to, but 1 ring, 2 rings, or if you don't want to do a voicemail, you don't do a voicemail. Then you can also, on the right side here, you can select days of the week. So you can say, all right, if someone calls from Alabama on Monday between 12 and 5, then send them to this phone number. Otherwise, do something else. Right, so then you got to pick the other thing. So if you're going to say from 9 to 5, send them here. Well, if they don't call 9 to 5, then they'll do what's the default. So basically, when you put this forwarding in, you're going to put it in as part of you're going to forward a phone number in here, and then when you add this state restriction, it's really just for when someone hits this exact filter. So if you say if someone calls from Alabama between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., then what's going to happen is going to go to the original forwarded number if it's outside of 9 to 5. And that's in the regular call forwarding schedule you already have set up. Okay, so this is going to be inside like an existing one. So when you do this, you have to pick a phone number that you're going to do it with. So when you scroll down here a little bit, you see those little check boxes. So these are all my phone numbers. So you're going to say, I want this to work with this phone number. Or, I mean, technically you could choose multiple. You could choose all of them if you wanted to, but, typically you're probably going to do, one phone number. And then you're going to hit save. So whatever you want your filter to be, this is how you do it. And then if you want to do one for every single state, you got to do this, 50 times. So whatever you want. Or if you have a client or a buyer that's maybe only 3 states, you say, okay, if someone calls from these 3 states, do this. So you can do whatever you want. So it's pretty cool. Let's talk IVR. I'm going to go over IVR. What is that? Interactive voice response. That means somebody calls into your phone number, and what you want to do is you want to route that phone number to different buyers depending on the answers the person gives. So for example, someone calls into my phone number and asks them, how much revenue do you do? Do you do over $10,000 a month in revenue? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. If they press 1, goes to that buyer that I said. They press 2, all right, it asks another question. Maybe it asks, do you generate between $5,000 per month and $10,000 per month? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, etc. So you can keep going forever if you wanted to, but obviously you're only going to have so many buyers, and then you're going to figure it out. Now, one thing, just to throw it out there, you always want a buyer to go somewhere. All right? You want a buyer to go somewhere. Meaning, you don't want a buyer to come in and then they just go to a message and say, sorry, we can't help you. Kind of want to send them somewhere, even if you give away the call for free. Because the last thing you want is that buyer now calling back in, right? They call back in, and then they just start, guessing what to say to speak to somebody. Then that becomes a bad lead, right? So just keep that in mind for whatever your situation is. So I use CallFire. Callfire.com for my IVR. Now, this is all I really use it for now. I'll go into the text messaging stuff. You can use them for text messaging, but I'll go into that later. So I just use them right now for an IVR. So what does that mean? That means that you log into your account and you need to get a phone number. So you're going to go to phone numbers, then you're going to click by numbers. Click that. And you're going to choose your area code, whatever that is. Let's just say you're in LA. And then you're going to choose 3. Actually, I don't even know the numbers there. So let me just do something local to me. Right, whatever your first 6 digits are, you're going to click search. And then you're going to choose a number, whatever it is. Let's just say it's this one. You're going to select the number. You're going to hit purchase number, and you go through the process. Toll-free numbers cost $2 per month, and local numbers cost $1 per month. In this case, most likely, I guess it depends on your situation. If you need put it this way, if you need a toll-free number, get one. If you need a local number, get one. I use local numbers because these numbers are never published anywhere. I use toll-free numbers through Call 8, and then they get routed this way, so I just choose the cheapest option. All right, so now let's go back. All right, so we're in phone numbers. To set up the IVR, you're going to click on phone numbers, and then once you have your phone number, you're going to click on the phone number. Then you're going to do action and set up IVR. That's going to bring you to a page that looks like this, and it's going to say configuring to your phone number, whatever phone number that is. Now, since I already have one set up, I'm just going to pull that up. So here's one I already have set up. Now, what happens is this. This is a little confusing. I'm just one of those people that I just kind of figure stuff out. If you're one of those people, great. If you're not, you may have some issues with this. Now, the good thing is you call CallFire, you tell them exactly what you want to do. They'll set it up for you. You're good to go. And this is going to be your issue with anything. If you're the type of person that just doesn't want to do it, or this stuff is difficult to figure out. But I gotta tell you, once you figure it out, it's great because then you can just do everything yourself, make changes, tweak it, whatever. But sometimes maybe the type of person that just needs to set up once and then you can edit it. That's kind of like me with some stuff. So I understand where you're coming from. But you just figure out what's good for you. But I'll go through the process of how to set this up and what it even means. So the first step that for me, because now I have press 1 for yes, 2 for no. Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. That's how mine's set up. So I'm just going to give you how it works for me. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have a play. So that's this one. So you just drag this. You hold it and drag it down, and it'll just appear. Now, because it's already up here, it's going to appear down here. So if this is brand new to you, then obviously this thing's going to appear at the top. Now I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. But you basically just pull whatever it is and you just drag it down to the position you want to be in. But the system only allows you to do things in a certain way because you can't have two plays next to each other, basically. So play means what? Play is going to be what you want it to say. So this, from top to bottom, that means what's going to happen is that this line right here is the first thing that's going to happen when somebody calls in. So this is actually not in use, this exact one, so it doesn't really make any sense on why I have certain things set up, but it's still the same concept. So you have options. You can choose speech voice, means the computerized voice, or you can we're doing text to speech. That's this option right here. Then speech voice, you choose whatever voice you want. So you pick whichever one you want. If you want to listen to it, you got to call in and listen to it. Then you have recorded sound. So you can record a sound and upload it. So you see how I have all these? So I've uploaded my own stuff and I've used a text to speech. So either whatever you want is fine. They both work. So you can, if you upload it, you go to your sound manager over here and you upload it through the sound manager. So let me just open this up. So work with sound library. This explains what to do. So you can just click here and it'll explain to you exactly what to do. The sound library is over here on the left. So you click that, you go to sound library. I'll actually go into that after this. So you choose whatever you want, but let's just say we're going to text to speech. So you're going to type in whatever you want. So if it's a initial phone call, it's thank you for calling. Please, answer the following questions. Whatever you want to do, and you press OK. So now what's going to happen is that person's going to hear that. Then what's going to happen is you want them. Now this plays, and then you want it to play again, right? Because this is just saying, welcome, thank you for calling. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play another message. So this one, for me, is your personal credit score over 680? Press 1 for yes or 2 for no. Again, is your credit score over 680? Press 1. I like to repeat it because you know how people are, right? They never really hear things the first time. So I repeat the whole entire thing twice every single time. So now what happens is, right? So the first one, intro. Thank you for calling, whatever you want to say. Then the next one now gets into it. All right, let's figure out what we're going to do with this person. Here's a question I need answered. Now, as you can see, I have a menu button here between play and play. This is just how they need to set it up for whatever reason. So play, now the menu comes into play because now you have options. Then you play again, play feature. You put in whatever you want. See this name right here, play 4? These, you can't have two of the same name. So if you see mine, play 15, play 4, play 5, play 2, they're all a different name. So now what's going to happen is once the person goes through this process, it's going to say, key press. All right, what did they do? Did they hit 1 or 2? Okay, if they hit 1, I play another one. Thank you. Please wait while we transfer you to a loan specialist. That's what I do. And then you tell the system, transfer, you call it whatever you want, and then you put the phone number in that you want to call in the system. If they hit key press 2, you say whatever you wanted to say, play, thank you. Please hold while I transfer you to business specialist. And then you say transfer to this number. That's it. I'm going to open this up. So in here, you basically put the name in, you put the transfer number. On the right side, it gives you instructions and stuff, any help. On the bottom, you can do enable advanced features and do call. You can do your own caller ID and mask it. You can do whatever you want here. Just read it and it tells you exactly what you need if you want to use those features. I never do, but you never know what position you're in and if you need it. So, but for me, I just put the name of it because you have to put a name in. So I just put my buyer's name in and the transfer number, their phone number, my buyer's phone number. So that's what you put in there, and that's pretty much it. So again, the play feature to play your message. You can upload or do text to speech. You use the menu. You use the play again. And then after the play again, now you're asking a question. Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. Now you're telling the system, okay, if they press 1, play this message and transfer to this person. If they press 2, play this message, transfer to this person. And you can keep going on. You can take this whole thing, menu down, menu, play, key press, play, transfer, key press, play, transfer, right? Menu, play, key press, and everything underneath. The whole entire thing, you're going to copy it all the way to the bottom and do this all over again if you want. And then, again, you have another play. So let's just say, for example, key press 2 really goes to another question, right? So you could do that. Say, all right, so you want to ask multiple questions. So they press 1 for yes, great, but if they press 2, I actually just want to ask another question. So now you take this, you turn it to another question, you get rid of transfer by deleting it, right? And then now you do what the next thing you want to do. So, for example, what are we going to do? Menu. So where's menu? Right, you do a menu. Then see how menu gives you a play and a key press all by default. So now if they press 2, it's going to go here and it's going to play whatever you want, right? Text to speech, you call it, play 99, so you don't have 2 of the same name. Do you have good credit, right? Whatever you want to say. Okay, key press. Okay, so now name, call this, 99, whatever. Press 1. Okay, so now they see now we're going back to the way it is here. So play, do you have good credit? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, right? And then if they press 1, you go through the whole process. You just keep going down, doing the same thing all over again. If you have an error, if there's an error, it's going to tell you once you try to save this and there's an issue, it's going to tell you there's an error. So you don't have to worry about doing it not working. It'll automatically tell you. And then, you just got to learn the system. There's a click here for help. You have everything you need, a lot of support. Do you want them to build it for you? Right here, look, build it for me. So totally up to you if you're having difficulties. Take advantage of it. They say it'll take 72 hours for initial consultation, whatever. Or you pick up the phone, call them, and they'll answer the phone. They'll help you out. So that I've done it plenty of times because I needed help. You also have live chat in the bottom right-hand corner. So this is the IVR. It's cool. All right. Now you can also do broadcasts. So I'm going to get out of here. Let's go to broadcast. A broadcast, you can do a voice broadcast where you basically do let's just do a new voice broadcast. All right, so a new voice broadcast means that I could just blast out a message to 10,000 phone numbers, 1,000 phone numbers, whatever you want. So you choose what you want. A live answer. Select the message that is played when the phone is answered. This is an automated recording, or you can upload your own message. Answering machine. Select the message that plays when an answering machine picks up. That means basically it's going to hang up on the person, right? So it hangs up on a person if you want to do an answering machine. Or you can do both, live answer and answering machine. Do not call. Select the message that plays to acknowledge that the do not call digit has been pressed and inform the contact. So if you want to say do not call, if you want to put on a do not call, let's press 8, and then that's fine. You can play a message for that too. This is how voice broadcasting works. Just be careful if you're going to do voice broadcasting. You don't want to do this to people that don't want to be called. You can get into trouble for this type of stuff. So just be careful. If it's your own leads that you generated and everything's good, it's fine. But if you buy lists and do it, you got to be careful. But this is how you set it all up. So if I hit select a message, it's going to go here. I have a bunch of messages in here already. So you can basically create your own message, upload an audio file, dial in to record. So you can actually dial in a phone number and leave the message over the phone, and then they'll record it for you. Record via phone and text to speech. So you have 4 options to do that. And again, the same thing for answer machine, etc. So that's a voice broadcast. You can also do a text broadcast. So this, I'm going to do a new text broadcast. I haven't done one of these in a long time. And then what you're going to do, you can use a short code. So they will actually give you a short code number to use. That's the best one to use. Or you can, click this drop down box and you have your own phone numbers to use. So you can buy your own phone number and then use that to text out. So when people get the text message on the other end, they're either going to see a phone number or a short code. Short codes are a little better because it's shared, but you can try both. And then you're going to put your message. Now, the message has to be 160 characters or less, almost like Twitter. And you just put in your character, right? Whatever you want your text message to be, it's going to be this. So, hey, do you want a business loan? Go here, right? www.ebc.com, right? Your link to get a business loan. Now, on the bottom right, for 22 characters, you can do an add default opt-out. Reply stop to opt-out. Now, the one thing about CallFire, they do not manage the list for you. What do I mean by that? That means if you take 1,000 phone numbers and text them all, what's going to happen is it's just going to be a blast, and that's it. People will say reply stop to opt out, but you have to manually go and figure out who those people are and take them off your list if you want to do that. So they don't actually manage the list for you. They just allow you to blast, and then you got to figure it out from there. There are other companies that will manage the list for you, other text messaging companies. They're out there. Try them out. I just don't use them, so I can't teach you how to use it. But I got to be honest with you, this stuff is pretty easy to use. This isn't really rocket science here. To use these services, they make it as simple as possible. But this service is good for just blasting, and that's it. Outside of that, you can, again, use whatever character you want. You don't have to put this add default opt-out text. You can just leave it blank if you want. You can do a send a test text if you want, and there you go. So now you're going to go next, and it's going to upload your list. You could choose a file, upload all your lists. They can only use certain, extensions. Just figure out which one works. You can also do copy and paste. You can choose an existing list that you already have in here. You can add a single contact. You can filter previous list. Whatever you want to do, you can, use this stuff. I haven't used this in a while, so maybe they can now today. Like it says, filter previous lists. I'm going to click on that real quick. Let's see what happens, if anything. Well, nothing's happening anyway. So, I'm not really sure if they can do the whole filtering thing and, taking an opt-out. Oh, here it is. So, filter phone number from existing campaigns. Okay. So, so basically, you take a list. Yeah, I mean, this isn't it. So, you can filter a previous list, but it seems like it's almost like a manual process. So, you take a list, you put in here, you blast it out, whatever you want to do, and it'll all go out right away. It works. If you have a good message and you have a good list, you're going to make money on it, right? But obviously, you're getting a 90% contact rate with texting, so it's definitely good stuff. So, all right, so we went over IVR, how to set that up. We went over phone blast, we went over text blast. That's pretty much all you use this for. That's it. So you can certainly, again, use these services like Call8 and CallFire like I do. You can try to find a service that's all in one and does everything in one. They're out there. I've seen them at conferences and whatever. I just never really cared enough to switch myself. But there's even other stuff that they do. They have a call center, other things. Do your research on whatever else. But this is the basics that I use my stuff for. The IVR is the most important thing to me so I can sell calls. And that's it.